Best third quarter snack, hot dogs or nachos?
You know my mantra, Doug.
Yes.
Meaty early, cheesy late.
Well, it looks like we have a caller here to weigh in. Is this Chuck?
Popcorn in the third is the move.
What?
You go with passive snacking after halftime.
No, it's nachos.
Look, as long as there's an ice cold Dr. Pepper there to wash it down, I'm good with either. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
As America's largest injury firm, we have advantages few others do. Our results and reputation are well known to the other side, and we have a track record of going toe-to-toe with them and winning big. But what does that mean for you? What does that mean for your case? I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One of the things we're most proud about is that we set up our firm so that your case gets lots of attention from a lot of people. Our technology and army of lawyers give us insight and oversight into every detail and every moment of your case. Paralegals, legal assistants, investigators, buildings with boxes of evidence. Every resource carefully designed to get you the most possible. And at Morgan & Morgan, we even have a dedicated team to make sure that your calls are returned that very same day. Injured? Dial pound law. That's pound 529. All law firms are not the same. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.
Injured? Visit ForThePeople.com for an office near you.
In case you haven't noticed, the holidays are a-coming. So why not make the trip to Grandma's house in style and comfort with a little help from my friends at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota has over 575 new Toyotas available, and your new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. Arlington even has all makes and models of used inventory. I'm talking over 400 on the lot. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your pre-owned purchase. Why wait? Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
Let's listen, learn, and grow together, even when the discussions are uncomfortable or challenging. The First Coast YMCA and the Jewish Community Alliance are partnering to bring our community together against hate. You're invited to join us for open, honest conversations about our shared experiences and differences.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey is out in Buffalo with the Josh Allen-led Bills offense stagnant for well over a month. The Bills fired Ken Dorsey. The past 6 games, the offense held to under 26 points, particularly has struggled in the first half, and turnovers continue to be a problem for Allen. He's got 11 picks on the season. First Take co-host Shannon Sharp.
There is no team that's able to overcome bad quarterback play. And right now, Josh Allen is playing bad football. You can say, oh, he's immensely talented. His arm talent, his ability to run, his athleticism, he can make every throw. He's that immensely talented, and he's a turnover machine.
Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady is Buffalo's interim OC. Giancarlo Stanton's agent is warning free agents about joining the Yankees. In a statement to The Athletic, Joel Wolf said players have to be made of Teflon mentally and physically because they can never let their guard down even in the offseason. That was a response to comments from Yankees GM Brian Cashman, where he said the injury-plagued Stanton is going to wind up getting hurt again more likely than not because it seems to be a part of his game.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
It's a good thing the weather's not like this all the time, because it certainly feels like the weather is showcasing how the building feels at Jags headquarters right now.
Oh, a little bit gray, a little bit dark.
A little bit gloomy.
A little bit grim.
We really haven't had this. Like last year, you guys remember the feeling when the Jags got off to that rough start, 3-7 overall after Kansas City? The Denver game felt like, well, it turned out to be, right? I don't know if it felt like in the moment, but it turned out to be like this rock bottom moment, if you will, for Trevor Lawrence, and things certainly changed after that. But I don't feel like it was a negative feeling, because in all of that, I think we saw a lot of good things. They weren't getting wins, but they were doing a lot of good things, even offensively and everything else. Of course, the expectation level was pretty low at that point, 10 games into Doug Pederson's tenure here in Jacksonville. But it had flipped, and you could feel it, and there were things to grab onto. So, yeah, they might have been 3-7, but it didn't feel like 3-7 bad, because the previous year felt so bad. So what I'm getting at is, right now over this 48-hour stretch, I think it feels the worst it's felt here in Jacksonville since Urban Meyer.
You're probably not wrong.
And
only because the expectations were so low last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and there were these little things you could pull from. They just weren't winning. They weren't doing enough, but there were things. And, well, this is I think, probably a major overreaction to go all the way back to the Urban days and say, oh, now it feels like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the vibe right now here on a Tuesday afternoon in Jacksonville, after they get thumped by the Niners, hadn't played in a couple weeks to build on anyway. The offense continues to not perform at a high level over 9 games. And then the news of Zay Jones last night into this morning just has a little bit of a cloud over Everbank and the Miller Electric Center and Jags headquarters for the first time. How big the cloud is, how concerning the cloud is, that's up to you to decide, right? You might feel a different way. They might feel a different way. But I think for the first time, they walk in that building tomorrow to get back to work, and there's a little bit of, this doesn't feel as good as it's felt the last 380 days or so.
Yeah. Winning seems like it would cure a lot of those ills, though, right?
Usually does.
And you got a good team coming into Jacksonville this weekend to try and get back on the winning streak with.
Yeah, you can do that. But before we get to that, I believe this is a big week for Doug Pederson and Trevor Lawrence now. I think the Zay Jones stuff adds to it. I mean, listen, by now you know the Zay Jones stuff. Arrested last night for misdemeanor domestic battery. Was in court this morning, stayed overnight in prison. And where does that land? We'll get into that in just a bit. But I think right now, Doug Pederson, who has pushed a lot of the right buttons and has turned this franchise around and flipped the script, and he certainly has done that. And Trevor Lawrence, who played poorly on Sunday, but has been such a good face of the franchise, even with adversity over his career. I think there's a lot on these guys right now this week, Aaron, to kind of, okay, hey, we're good, right? We're good. Let's get by this little Zay thing or big Zay thing, however they're viewing it.
Whatever it is, yeah.
And let's get back to being who we are and winning football games and start taking off. And don't forget that we're 6-3 and we're in first place in the AFC South, and we're still better than everybody else in the AFC South. I don't know how they illustrate that. I just said it. You can say it, but you got to illustrate it. You got to do it. You got to feel it at practice, and then you got to go perform it in the game on Sunday. Yeah. It's a big week for those two guys, I think. It's a big week maybe for the Jags, but those two guys are leading the way.
And we've actually seen them, at least when it comes to the game itself, not the distractions on the outside like Zay's arrest. But last year after the October run, which had this team looking pretty putrid, you saw guys like Doug and Trevor stand up in front of the team and go, hey, we know who we are. We know what we're capable of, and we're going to show the rest of the world. And they did. And now you got to say it again, but you got to step it up another level, don't you? It's not just enough to be there this year.
No, it's not. Kasey, am I being a little over dramatic here? I mean, you get what I'm saying? You think these guys I'm not looking for some Newt Rockney speech here. I'm just saying these guys got to settle it down and steer it in the right way and don't lose the focus. Outside the building, it's like, oh, my gosh. You're seeing it, Kasey. I mean, I don't think it's panic inside the building, but there's still a way to direct this thing with leadership.
It's just one football game, though, right?
It was, but
just four quarters?
Feels like a bad 48 hours.
Well, dude got arrested. Yeah, it's bad. But, I mean,
It is one football
it's
game.
4 quarters.
But by the time you get on the field against the Titans, it's been 3 weeks since you really felt great about yourself on the field.
It's been 4 quarters.
It's been 4 quarters, but I'll add this, Kasey. You're concerned about the offensive line since week 1. The offense has not clicked to the point that it should since week 1, really. So you could make the case that some of these things have been brewing. The turnovers continue to be an issue. So, I mean, those kind of things, that's not just one game. That's really been 2 months now.
Yeah, I mean, they made the addition to their offensive line. If they're going to choose not to play the guy, then, I mean, there's nothing. They have a better option at offensive line in general. They could put out a better rotation of dudes than they did last week. If they're choosing not to do that, that's on them.
See, I'd be very concerned if I was thinking of this today. Again, I don't mind if calling some of this stuff over dramatic or not, but I'm just trying to figure out in the building and the temperature and how this stuff goes. When you have the microscope on you, right? Like that is part of their business. If we have a bad day in this building, if this company has a bad day, the microscope is not on us to the next day and the next day and the next day, right? It might be a long-term story of, hey, how'd you do this year and everything else, but it's not on you every day. Like, these things can shift and you can hear the noise and they can implode on you in a hurry, right? And we've seen it in Jacksonville. There's a little bit of that in everybody outside the building as we've seen the implosion before. I just don't expect that. If Urban Meyer was still the head coach, I could see it imploding, something like this.
You've seen it
over these 48 hours, right? I mean, it just kept building and snowballing. I don't sense that's going to be the case, but I go back to two people. The reason why I don't sense that would be the case, or I feel confident that it won't be the case, is because of Doug Pederson and Trevor Lawrence. But that doesn't mean that it's not a pivotal moment in the season for those guys. Like, every season has its moments.
Yeah.
And Doug, at 3-7 going into the bye last year, he said, we still believe we can make the playoffs. That was pivotal. For Trevor Lawrence, the flight home from Denver after a bad throw in the end zone again was pivotal moment to him. He looked himself in the mirror and he said, this isn't good enough. Screw this. I'm not playing like this. I don't know what they're going to say to each other or the rest of the team. I just do feel like right now, coming off this game, it's a pretty pivotal moment with the rest of the AFC looking the way it is, the Houston Texans looking the way they do, and you've got two big division games right here, right now, in the next couple of weeks. This is the moment of the 2023 season right here.
Well, look, if you got Press Taylor calling plays and Mike Caldwell scheming defenses and Trent Baalke making personnel decisions, then this is it. This is where Doug Pederson makes his salary. This is where he looks at his team in the face and he says, we all believe the same thing. We all get on the same page, and let's move forward and not look back. And it's got to work, or else, what are you paying the man millions for?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they react. One thing about the whole Zay Jones part of this is the Jaguars issue a statement, but they don't talk on Tuesday, so it just builds. Now, we have police reports now, and it was a disagreement with the mother of Zay Jones' child who lives in Orlando, was taken back to Orlando, is according to the police report, and scratches on the neck, ripping off of a necklace, and that's how he was arrested on misdemeanor battery charge. I mean, that's a real deal thing. You had a receiver that you think is maybe impacting your lack of performance on offense.
Or at a minimum, an important part of your offense.
In jail last night, in a jumpsuit this morning, in front of a judge.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody's walking back into the building to tomorrow. So how they respond internally, forget about externally, but internally to that kind of, whoa, didn't expect this. I think if you ask the fan base, didn't expect this.
I mean, that's the vast majority of people commenting on this story on X. That's the post I saw. Out of all the players on the team, Zay is one of the last people they would have expected it from. So shocking in that nature.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. Now, listen, from a football standpoint, when it comes to Zay Jones, we think he's an important part of this. But here's the deal. We don't know. He's got 5 catches for like 55 yards this year, doesn't he? Or something like that. He's played in 2 games in like a quarter. But he might be part of the reason we think that they haven't performed to their ability.
8 for 78.
Oh, is it 8 for 78?
Way off, Brent.
Sorry. I don't know where I saw 5 for 55. Maybe it was the first couple of games or something.
2 touchdowns.
He's got a couple
and those 8
touchdowns.
catches,
And those 2 touchdowns were magnificent.
Magnificent. One of them, he climbed up like 10 feet on a ladder.
But it's hard to tell. They've been playing without Zay. They've been 6-3 without Zay Jones, but we just don't feel like they've elevated. I think internally, whatever happened in the last 24 hours to Zay Jones is going to be like his business and his personal business, and he's got to deal with it and not have an impact on the football team. Do you guys think it?
Yeah, I actually think it's made easier by the fact that he hasn't been on the field in weeks. And so as far as distractions
But
go,
he's a leader in the room now, and then he ends up in jail last night, right?
And granted, that's not something you want to see. But at the same time, it's not going to impact their game plan because they've been game planning without him now for over a month, almost 2 months. And honestly, it kind of takes some of the attention away from the ass kicking you got on Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know if this is how you want to get.
Of course not.
attention.
But, if you're a member of the Jaguars and you're like, man, I can't, you're just trying to shake this loss on Sunday off you and you can't. This is certainly a way that happens.
The other part of this is, will the NFL do anything?
It's a good question. Because if you got arrested, there's a code of conduct violation there. But we've seen guys get arrested and the NFL not suspend anybody.
So the story, like the latest on the police report, by the way, is an argument with the mother of his child allegedly resulted in injury to her neck. This happened on Monday afternoon. And the woman said she was visiting Jones and their child. Per the arrest report, the woman said Jones became upset because she was planning on taking their child back to Orlando, and the two argued. Some details were redacted regarding the alleged battery. The Jacksonville's Sheriff's Office deputy noted in the report he observed several small scratches on the victim's neck, consistent with marks from a fingernail. And that is that. So I don't know what I don't. When's the last one of these we've had in the NFL? I mean, it would seem like we had some domestic situation in the NFL. They come down hard on players, and I don't know if this will be a suspension. But oftentimes, if you want to fight a suspension, then you can have appeal, or will you get already put on like a list from the commissioner? So that part of it will be interesting to see. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what falls into that category or not. A domestic situation is a domestic situation, should be treated seriously. Also should be let played out before we try to figure out, okay, that's a 4-gamer or not, or he should never play again for the Jags, or however they're going to handle it. And I would assume Doug Pederson will say something about it tomorrow and give us a little indication, but I don't know if he'll give us a lot. I mean, these things, they don't usually say much. A statement, they were aware of it, and that's it.
Yeah,
so
they're probably waiting for this whole thing to come to a close.
I mean, I'm curious about in these situations is will Zay Jones even talk? Again, he's a leader of the football team. He's a veteran guy. Would he come up to the podium and even talk and say something? Like, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
from
his
a
lawyer
legalese
will tell him
standpoint,
not to.
Well, they would, but it doesn't mean he can't be asked questions in the locker room too. He might want to. Hey, this is all I can say now. I don't know how they're going to handle that on Wednesday. But I don't know how much it impacts the football team. I can just tell you this: 48 hours. These last 48 hours have been what I said at the top of the show. Not a very fun 48 hours in Jacksonville for the first time in a long time. But I do go back to what Trevor Lawrence said on Sunday. And I thought he had this guy, there was a bunch of different stuff like, hey, I played one of my worst football games in my career, to this one I think I'd overlooked. He said, we're the same football team we were 5 hours ago. And I thought it was a good move on his part, right? It's like, yeah, they are. They just got their butt whooped, right? I mean, they got their butt whooped. And
no one goes undefeated.
And they're going to lose football games, and you don't want to lose them like that. And you don't want to lose them at home, and you'd like to beat the good team, and you'd like to everybody still be like, hey, we're awesome and Super Bowl bound, and the odds on the Super Bowl just went up. And, well, now everybody's forgetting about you. You can't beat a good team, an elite team like that, so now you're no good. But internally, they probably feel like, hey, we're the same football team. We had Rayshon Jenkins on the show. I mean, they're not panicking inside there. It was a bad day. It was a bad day. They watched the tape. They let it burn a little bit. And then they probably burn it, if you can do that. And then they get back to it. But to go back to what I started, I think this is not necessarily right now. Wednesday really is where this starts to take form. It's not necessarily about being 6-3. It's not necessarily about getting blown out by the Niners. It's really not even about Zay Jones' situation. It's not about these singular things. To me, it's about, okay, a little bit of adversity. How do you handle it? And Doug Pederson is the guy that's pushed all these buttons. He knows he knows the microscope. He was in Philly, for crying out loud, right? He knows that. And Trevor Lawrence actually knows how to do this too. He spent 2021 here.
Yeah.
So, like, they're pretty good at crisis management.
Had a crash course in it, yeah.
So, but I think all eyes to me, and we're not going to see this. We don't know what that looks like. We'll get a little bit of a glimpse of it, 15 minutes on our microphone. But that's it. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's up to them. I mean, do you agree? Is it up to them, or is it up to everybody else? Or is it just a normal week in Jacksonville once she gets in that building on Wednesday?
Is what up to them?
Doug and point this thing in the right direction. How they handle this. Like, how they handle this thing, is it important on Wednesday?
Yeah. Definitely. I think exactly echoing the point you said at the opening of the show, it's Doug and Trevor, and they've got to turn it around first inside that locker room, and then the team's got to turn it around on the field on Sunday. But even more so for me, Doug than Trevor, because while you expect your quarterback to lead the team, it's the literal gig for the head coach. Like, you know it's going well when the quarterback does it too. You want a quarterback who can do that. But there is no quarterback, there is no head coach in the NFL who doesn't have the responsibility of pointing the ship in the right direction.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because of what happened in Buffalo today, right? I mean, Buffalo, they say, all right, we're panicking. So that's what, and we're going to take a break. When we come back, we talk about the Buffalo thing. See, I think they panicked. You guys might not. Maybe other people don't. See, the fans love people who get fired.
Like, they love action.
People want to fire Press Taylor because of one game on Sunday.
I think they like action more than if Doug came out and said, I'm taking the play calling back, I think they'd be satisfied there.
Oh, they would be, they'd love it.
I think it's just action.
He should probably say it even if he doesn't do it.
You know, that's a good point. That's a good point. A little okey doke.
Just, hey, fans, there we go. Like, let me take the bullets.
Well, who's going to check?
Right. But I really thought what happened today in Buffalo was a little bit of a panic move. And I mean, there's some numbers to prove that it was a panic move. Or are the Bills really in trouble? And the other part of this, guys, is the AFC is all of a sudden stacking up the way we thought it might.
A little bit.
It's getting hot and heavy in the AFC. halfway through this season with a lot of football to be played. Like, if you could pick the playoff teams right now, you're doing pretty well. Kasey, make that wager, man. Hey, Aaron, put some Cliff coins on that.
Cliff coins. We're on to Hard Rock betting, folks. Come on. Legal.
We'll talk about the AFC playoff picture, what happened in Buffalo, and what the Jags do next. It's next on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy and breezy today with a few scattered showers. Highs near 70 degrees. Scattered showers continue tonight down to the low 60s and mostly cloudy with some more rain tomorrow. Your Wednesday high, 73. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Checks.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now save 43% off everything in the store during Beard's 43rd anniversary sale.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. Main office, Jacksonville.
Let's listen, learn, and grow together, even when the discussions are uncomfortable or challenging. The First Coast YMCA and the Jewish Community Alliance are partnering to bring our community together against hate. You're invited to join us for open, honest conversations about our shared experiences and differences. The next conversation is December 5th with a discussion about diverse abilities. Space is limited, so pre-registration is required. For more details, please visit the Together Against Hate Facebook page.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball, the opening tip is almost here. UNFospreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of basketball. Season tickets, flex plans, and premium seat and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men's team always play an exciting brand of basketball. And welcome new women's coach Erica Lambert to UNF Arena. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. See one and you'll want to see more. UNFospreys.com. BetOnline.com.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau,
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts,
You don't even like your team.
and Aaron Schachter
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
All right, don't panic, Jacksonville. Not the way the Buffalo Bills did. You guys like this move or what? Fire everyone.
I like this move.
You do.
I love it.
You do like to fire. You want to fire Nathaniel Hackett right now, anyway.
You know what? No.
All right, so you're okay firing Ken Dorsey?
Yes.
But not okay with firing Nathaniel
They
Hackett?
can fire Robert Saleh.
No,
Here's the
you're
deal.
down on Saleh.
I think the Dorsey move was one that was coming for a long time. There were certainly reports on it for a long time. Then there was an article that came out, I think a couple of days ago, that quoted McDermott as saying he might need to do something drastic here. It seems like this had been in the works for a while. Then the leak started coming out that Stefan's problem earlier this year wasn't necessarily with Josh Allen. It was with Ken Dorsey. Then, of course, we saw what we saw last night from Trayvon Diggs that made us think otherwise. But it seems like a lot of people had issues with Dorsey. Had defensive players, their defensive tackle right before the game started, autographed a poster sign outside the stadium of a fan holding up that just said, "Fire Ken Dorsey." And so when you see all those in conjunction with each other, you kind of get the feeling that this was the plan. And all you needed was an embarrassing loss to really kick it off, and then there it goes. I don't think that's an overreaction. This team is underperforming. A lot of that's on offense. The turnovers are unsustainable. Josh Allen with the most turnovers in football right now. The defense isn't exactly looking great. They're ravaged by injuries, but they also lost Leslie Frazier to start the season, their defensive coordinator, who is very well respected around the league. So now you're talking about a team who's lost their OC and their DC, is not playing up to par, has issues within the franchise of their star players, Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. And it's like, well, something's got to give here. So what do you do if not the offensive coordinator?
Casey, what do you think? You like it?
What do I care? I like Joe Brady. I think he's better at the job than Ken Dorsey could have done. So,
Well, there you go. You like it then. Good.
okay.
It sounds like you like it if Joe Brady's the answer. Whatever happened to Joe Brady, by the way? Wasn't he like the
He
golden
was the
child?
backup offensive coordinator for the Bills. He's now the starter.
But he was like the OC in what, Carolina after the LSU stuff?
Yeah, the
Yes.
LSU stuff made him a darling, and then
Yeah.
in Carolina, he got some pro work, yeah.
Now, listen, here's the only reason I think if this is pretty good, is this a good move? Well, depends how Josh Allen feels. Like if they doesn't get along with him or he doesn't see eye to eye with him or he just doesn't get him, I mean, it's important for those guys to be on the same page. Maybe there's more to it. Who knows? But I think this is a bigger story about Sean McDermott, really. McDermott's lost. He's been through 3 OCs now. Now, Dabo got the job in the Giants, so he got promoted. Frazier gone.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of different special teams guys, including Heath Farwell, who's here.
Right.
Chad Hall, the wide receivers coach here, let his contract run out in Buffalo with an offense and a team that was like a Super Bowl contender.
Yep.
And then ends up coming down here. To me, does this say a little bit more about McDermott and the feeling inside their building and the culture inside their building? You got Stephon Diggs, who asks for a trade like every other week.
It might say more about McDermott, but without a true defensive offense, like what else do you do? You can't jettison him. And so if you're looking at the Bills going, how do we make the playoffs? They literally have to go like 5-2 or 6-1 down the stretch. And so if you're going to do all the things the same, do you believe that's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm not saying that you need to fire McDermott. Well, maybe they will need after. I'm not saying today fire him. I just feel like this is a pan. When coaches start pointing fingers, that's a bad sign. We've seen that many times here in Jacksonville. You start letting guys go, there's not usually an answer that results in a positive. It just doesn't usually work. Now, there are exceptions. I'm not telling you that it can't happen, but this guy did pretty well last year. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to steal Mina Kimes here for all the people that said, yeah, fire him. Their offense stinks. Well, she shared this right after the news, and I thought it was pretty interesting. The Bills' offense through 10 weeks. 3rd in DVOA, 1st in success rate, 3rd in EPA per play, 4th in QBR, 3rd in yards per play, 2nd in third down conversion percentage, 3rd in red zone efficiency. And that got you fired?
1st in turnovers.
And again, that's on Josh Allen.
Yeah, like I'm not. Are we blaming Press Taylor for the turnovers and fumbles for Trevor Lawrence?
Here's McDermott's quote on Allen. He goes, I think he's played well at times, and then at times he hasn't. You can't turn the ball over, so we've got to figure that out. But to the point, it's not like you're firing or benching Josh Allen.
Right.
No, you're not going to, and that's fine. Like, I think Richard Sherman can, hey, it's time to have a conversation about Josh Allen. It's like, I don't know, is it, or do guys just play good sometimes and not play? They go through stretches, like, but maybe it is. He's a turnover guy. He's a higher turnover guy, but he's also an exception. I just read off all these other numbers. He's a fourth in the league QBR guy.
But can you win with that guy?
Well, they came damn close.
You get literally nothing for that.
No, you don't.
If anything, he kept you out last year.
What you asked, you asked for a long time about Peyton Manning. Can you win with that guy?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we asked that about Peyton Manning.
Last night after the game, Trayvon Diggs, Stefan's brother, took to Instagram or X with a couple of different posts. One was 14's got to get up out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then when people were asking him to delete
because
it,
when today's athlete doesn't have the way going his way, he's got to go cry and go somewhere else.
well, this is his brother, so you can't blame Stefan.
Well,
that being said, the next tweet was basically, I'm paraphrasing because I forget the exact quote, but he's basically saying Josh Allen wasn't a star until Stephon Diggs got there. So why is everyone sitting there saying it's Josh Allen's the guy and Stephon isn't?
Well, because he's got an exceptional toolbox, number one, and he was a guy that went from like a 56% passer to a 71% passer.
When
that's
Diggs
not a Diggs thing.
When he got there.
Okay, that's a helpful Diggs thing, but throwing to a guy down the field is not a high percentage rate throw. So this was an offense thing. Like Dable helped that out.
But you could
right?
see a world
Dorsey
in which Stephon Diggs' arrival frees up other
Absolutely.
pass catchers for Josh Allen. And the reality is, if Josh Allen is only Josh Allen because of Stephon Diggs, and when Diggs is taken out of the game, Josh Allen becomes either mediocre or useless to rely the whole offense around, then he's not that elite guy.
Maybe it's just funny to think. It's funny to think about, like, so Brock Purdy, number-wise, player-wise, Russell Wilson, number-wise, player-wise, they're playing better than a guy like Josh Allen. Yet you wouldn't take either one of them over Josh Allen.
Today, no. I don't think Brock Purdy has shown me enough in his less than one full season.
By the way, the year that Josh did go from 59 to 70% completion, Stephon Diggs 166 targets.
Whew, that is a lot.
So there is, there may be something there.
Listen, I believe, I will say this about Diggs. I thought the Diggs move was this bold move. Remember that they gave up so much? I thought that was a bold move to get them into a contention position. And in fact, I likened the Ridley move this past year to potentially doing that for Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, and it really hasn't transpired that way. Like, they haven't got that kind of bump out of a guy like Diggs, who, by the way, out of Ridley, who is compared to Diggs sometimes in terms of the elite level of route running and some of the skills. So I felt like this one was a panic move. They're 5-5. The guy's turning the football over. You can't do anything as a play caller if they're turning the football over. Like, I just don't know how you change that. The turnovers yesterday that I saw, one was a deflected pass. It was a terrible throw on the sideline. Terrible throw. Like, it wasn't even a good, accurate throw. It was to the inside, not even to the outside toward the boundary. And then the other one, he just dropped the ball, handing it to Cook.
And by the way, this was the book on Josh Allen on the way out of, I guess, Wyoming was, that he wasn't an accurate passer and that he turns the ball over too much. It was literally the scouting report.
Oh, it was. And then it was that way in this first year. And that's why, like, a guy like Jalen Ramsey called him trash.
So you're Brandon Beane or Sean McDermott. What are you doing in this scenario, if not the offensive coordinator?
I'm doing something that they did yesterday on the drive that they took the lead. Were you guys watching the game?
Yeah.
I don't watch a ton of the Bills play, but one thing, Kasey, we've talked about this a lot over the years with the Bills. They have no running game. They sure as hell had a running game on that last drive. I'm not sure he threw it once.
They didn't throw the ball on that last drive.
They have not run the football with Josh Allen as the quarterback since he got there. That might be maybe the first year they did with like Singletary and stuff. But, since the Diggs stuff, they became this, or to put it in Allen's hands, I think he leads the NFL over this time frame in terms of percentage of offense going through him. They have put way too much on that guy's plate, especially if he is turnover prone. They're lucky he hasn't been injury prone, although he's been a little banged up over the last couple of years. I think they need to run the football more. And maybe that is a Dorsey thing then, right? Does that go back? Maybe I'm telling on myself. Maybe you do have to go back and run the football. But you know what? That can come from the head coach, too. Hey, let's run the football more.
Yeah.
Like, you can do that as the head coach.
Sure.
I think Doug had a big influence over how they mixed things up on defense last year, halfway through the season. I think there were some good meetings in there to do that.
By the way, for what it's worth, Josh Allen has never had a 1,000-yard rusher on his team.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That's
they
wild in modern football.
They don't even try. But they really haven't tried. Now, they said they were going to try a little bit more this year. Maybe the numbers are up. But if you look at the sample of 3 years.
But, now you wonder, Josh Allen giving all those interviews saying, oh, we got to change my running style. We got to change that playing style. And James Cook starting out the season hot and then them completely abandoning him. You got to wonder if this is what sent Dorsey's job over the edge.
Would also like to double down. The Bills have never had a 900-yard rusher under Josh Allen.
This is wild.
870.
Because I would bet Josh Allen. I would bet Josh Allen's probably up at around 400-something yards each season, if not more.
And by the way, his rookie year, he led the team in rushing. When he was a rookie, he led the team in rushing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just a weird deal. But again, on that drive, when they took the lead, they didn't even throw the football. They ran the football, which was a great drive for them. That was a good football game, by the way. Very entertaining football game. And it's just interesting. McDermott calls the zero blitz, right? That leads to the big play down the field, which you're susceptible to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the play almost worked because they were all over Russ, but Russ was a smart veteran guy, and he threw it up for grabs there, and he got the call. And then you have 12 men on the field, which is always going to come back to the head coach and special teams and everything else. But that was after a timeout, right?
No.
Oh, no, it was run during the play. My bad. Yeah, it was run, which, again, I thought that was a stupid call by Peyton. Why would you risk that?
Yeah, I don't know.
To save 17 seconds? Like, are they really afraid of the Bills? I know
clearly
it's been done before. Like, I get it.
Now, clearly they were scared. That's the answer to the question. They did it. They were terrified.
Yeah,
they kneeled with no timeouts with less than 20 seconds in the game.
That was odd. They even did it at the end of the half, I think, where they kicked a field goal. Like, I think that's a dangerous thing to do because you get the 10-second runoff stuff, and you're screwed.
Yeah, I don't understand what the point was. But I don't understand also, how do you have 12?
I don't get that. There's a part of me, Kasey, that wonders this about football, like how they don't have that happen more often. And with all the substitution going on. But
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because everybody's running off and on, and it's like, okay, did 3 go off, 3 go on? Now, they know it differently because they know which guy they're going in for, and then it's their job to count it. But the problem is you didn't have the same setup as you normally would have to probably count it.
True.
And they would have been out without timeouts anyway, so they would have been screwed either way.
But you've got Buddy who just pass interfered, jumping up and down 10 yards behind everybody else. Maybe do a quick count.
Yeah, and he's probably still mad about the pass interference.
Right. Count, and if you get to 11 and you haven't counted yourself, you get off the field because you know they're going to kick it about 2 seconds left. So you kind of can watch the clock and know where you are. If you got 10 seconds, you got time to sprint off because they're not going to speed up and try to kick it. Then that throws everything off. So, you got to have a designated counter. To 11.
Let's flip this back to Jacksonville real quick because we're talking about the Ken Dorsey part. I think we kind of joked. I don't know if we were just joking about this live or in the commercial break now. Because there are people out there, again, the panic button, fire everybody, right? Mm-hmm. Fire Press Taylor. But I said, maybe just say, yeah, I'm calling plays even if you're not. Or should Doug Pederson take a little bit off the plate of Press Taylor in Jacksonville and take more command of the offense since he's been comfortable with it? That way, if it still stays bad, he can take some of that as well, and it's not all on Press Taylor.
But why would Doug want that?
Well, because my view of this whole acknowledgement that Press Taylor was calling plays on the day the season started was, we're going to put him in a good situation to be a head coach. Well, right now, if you're not doing as well as you thought you'd be doing, and he's the guy that's calling the plays, you're not putting him in a good situation to be a head coach.
Well, along with being in a situation to be a head coach is learning what it is to bear the burden of play calling.
I get it.
And, this is part of it. You got people who don't know what they're talking about telling you don't know what you're doing. That's the game.
So, I don't – you can look at it a bunch of different ways. Is it to help Press? Is it not? Should he publicly say he's owning more of the offense anyway?
I mean,
does he need to do that?
It would help Press. I don't see how it helps anything else. You know what would help?
Would you feel better, Kasey, if Doug came out tomorrow and said, hey, listen, We've been sharing the duties for the last 2 years, all right? Let's tell you how this all happened. I was calling the plays. Then I handed a lot over to Press. I've been with Press for a lot of time, going back to the Philly days. Did a fantastic job. He called plays in the second half last year. We kind of put him in control of it this year. I'm still overseeing it, but he's calling the shots. And I'm going to take a little bit more ownership of it back, and we're going to work together collaboratively, blah, 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 blah.
My follow-up
would you feel better?
My follow-up would be, have you been on social media? Because it seems like you're feeling the pressure a little bit if you do all that. If you go out and go on an 8-minute rant about who's calling what, that means you're feeling the heat. Then I'd be concerned for the whole thing.
And also, you put Press
Then it's panic time, right?
If they do that, they're panicking.
But you think you put Press in a good position by making him the play caller. What kind of position you put it in by taking it away? You're basically saying he failed.
Well, who put him in the bad position was whoever said that he was calling plays 20 minutes before they kicked off against Indianapolis.
Yes, that was the bad position.
Well, maybe the team's putting him in a bad position by dropping passes, not lining up correctly, not being in the playbook when they should. Like, everyone is culpable here.
But to answer the real part of your question, it doesn't make me feel better who's calling the plays, because I think that I've thought this from week one. They're hurt by not being able to call certain plays because their offensive line can't block it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're in a little bit of a they're backed into a bit of a corner from a play calling standpoint. A lot of times you can be backed into a corner from your quarterback's skill set standpoint. I mean, the Jags have had many quarterbacks over the years who are like, well, you better not call that, or can't make that throw, or maybe it's a guy like Mac Jones who can't move. You're not going to roll the pocket much, something like that. That's not the case here in Jacksonville. I mean, this guy can do everything apparently but quarterback sneak. And
we really gave up on that.
But I think, listen, you and I are on the same page, Kasey. Like, you're not going to come out and hammer your offensive line, though. And I'm not suggesting he even do that. He doesn't need to do anything. If he was going to make any kind of move because he thought things were clunky or out of sync, he would have done that during the bye week. Here's the real thing about the Jags internally. They feel like they are moving the ball and doing things well overall. They are turning the football over and therefore not scoring the amount of points they should be scoring. Now, take San Francisco game out of it. The whole thing looked bad in a lot of ways. But in the 8 games prior, and I think they have plenty of proof in this. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers game was like the ultimate proof of their, or at least ultimate validation of what they think is going on. They scored 20 points, and at one time, I don't know if they finished this way or not, they had 9 possessions in Pittsburgh territory. They moved the ball into Pittsburgh territory 9 times. They only scored 20 points, and they had 2 red zone turnovers or inside the 25-yard line turnovers. To me, that's the illustration inside the building. That's the words of Doug and Press and Trevor when they do talk about their offense and why it's not working. Evan Ingram this past week finally said, hey, you're not getting away with it anymore, right? We didn't get away with it today. So the Jags are not going to make any changes, is my point. Like, they are not putting this on Press Taylor.
On the staff, yeah.
Yeah, they are not. The only thing I saw the other day is they looked more discombobulated in Week 9 than I thought they did in any week so far this year. And I don't know why that was. I don't know why that was.
Don't you feel like that's directly attributable to coaching? I don't know which coach, but...
Well, here's what...
To have all the players regress simultaneously doesn't seem...
Well, I'm talking from an operations standpoint. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I thought the play was getting it. Maybe the play is not getting in late, but the play was getting snapped late. But think about it. You got Walker Little playing left guard. First time he's really doing that. I mean, second time. You've got you had multiple running backs feeding into the backfield, which you haven't really done that. And then also even Jamal Agnew got hurt, which means Tim Jones is out there more than he usually is from a snap standpoint. And I'm not pinning it on any one of those guys. I'm just telling you from a fluidity standpoint, it looked disjointed to me, a lot of their plays. Not just like the one play everybody's showing on that third down where I thought they should have called a timeout. The fluidity of their offense, and like that hasn't been a thing. Like you watch Trevor Lawrence run the offense, he's pointing it out, snap, boom, like that's fine. Now whether the play works or not, that's a different story. But the other day, it was more of an operational thing. Like, they looked like they didn't know what they were doing on several plays. And they were out of sync, even just getting the snap and the timing and everything else. And on some of those plays, the offensive line was jailbreak city.
Oh, man.
And that is where communication comes in on that offensive line. It's like they never got relayed what was supposed to happen. I think we saw a little bit of that in the early part of the year, like Ridley. He'd have to move Ridley around at some points, or last year with ETN even, kind of his first year out there in the offense because he had missed the prior year. But I thought it was exposed a little bit more, or at least more numerous on Sunday against the Niners. Everything stunk that day. Talk more Jags and AFC playoff picture. Wow. It's unbelievable. It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's next on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
We hit the road on Friday with Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 at Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill. Come on out and play a little pool, talk some football, eat wings. Of course, there's adult beverages, too. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day, and it's the place to be this Friday. Heading to a high school football game? Stop on by before you go. Get ready for the weekend with us on ESPN 690 at 3 p.m. Perfect Rack Billiards, now open for lunch at 11:30 on Fridays. Pool, darts, shuffleboard, and a fun, clean atmosphere. Perfect Rack Billiards. We'll see you there. Brent and Friends, ESPN 690 at 3 p.m.
Imagine it's the final game of the season, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are making a comeback. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
It's old school card collecting with new school breaks. Davoli's House of Cards does it all. Missing a card from an old 1987 baseball top set? They probably have it. Want to join in on a live TikTok break with the hottest new cards? You can do it with Davoli's House of Cards. Stop on by, talk some sports, find your favorite cards for your kids or for you, like when you were a kid. From Trevor Lawrence rookies to Pokemon and more, Davoli's House of Cards on 210. And join their live breaks on TikTok at Davoli's House of Breaks.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Shoulder pain can be caused by repetitive or overhead activities. Bursitis, tendonitis, and frozen shoulder are all examples of shoulder pain without a known injury. Alternating heat and cold therapies, massage, and stretching, and paying attention to your sleep style can help. One of the most important things you can do if you have shoulder pain is rest. You can also reduce inflammation in your body naturally through your diet. If your pain lasts longer than 2 weeks, or if you feel a pop or tearing sensation in your shoulder, the orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or to learn more, go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Lord license D056341.
Hello out there, all you hard workers. It's me, Pete the Job Guy.
And Angie, the boss.
And together we run Ascendo Resources, the best staffing agency in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's right, folks. We can help you with accounting, finance, technology, administrative, anything you need, we can help on a temporary, temp to hire, and permanent basis. So call the true professionals today at 904-663-2000 2654 because you deserve it.
Victim of a slip and fall? It takes one phone call to take back control of your life. Anajar and Levine will fight to get you the compensation you deserve. Call me, Mark Anajar, for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-330-2929. That's 800-330-2929. 800-330-2929.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. We'll be at Perfect Rack Billiards on Friday coming out 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. We'll have some fun out there, Murray Hill, and hopefully you can stop by later this week. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 at Perfect Rack Billiards. UNF Ospreys will be there on Thursday. The Ospreys playing the First Coast Classic. They're hosting a 3-day event prior to Thanksgiving with men's basketball playing 3 different games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That'll be a lot. Doesn't usually happen. Play 3 games in 3 days. And there are other schools like Maine and Presbyterian that are in town as well. We'll be over there Thursday afternoon. So come on out and say hello at UNF Arena on Thursday. You can check out the full schedule at UNFospreys.com. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. I kind of want to get into the AFC, but I kind of don't because we only got a couple of minutes. So
Fair
I might do
enough.
that at 4 o'clock. How about that? How about
Sounds
that?
like a plan.
I got something else, though, from you.
What you got?
The All-Pro list halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
Jags have 2 players in the mix.
This from your guy, Bucky.
Bucky Brooks, Foye Oluokun, Darius Williams.
Is it shocking to anybody that those are the 2 guys on the All-Pro? I mean, they're playing out of their minds this year. But no Travis Etienne on that list?
No Josh Allen.
No Josh Allen on that
sacks.
list?
So here's what he has. Bucky does this. Bucky must work for like 15 different people.
It's a lot of checks.
He gets a lot of checks. Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, Travis Kelce, Christian Darrisaw, Tyler Smith, Jason Kelce, Chris Lindstrom, Penei Sewell. And on defense, it's Myles Garrett, Dexter Lawrence, Chris Jones, Max Crosby, Roquan Smith, Foye Oluokun, and Darius Williams, along with Paulson Adebo from the Saints in the corner spot. Deron Bland. I mean, these are guys that probably won't get on this list, but I think he's digging deep and saying these are guys that have earned it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And there are some guys who will get on that All-Pro list.
Oh, yeah,
at the top.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it can. This one maybe less in the Pro Bowl popularity contest-wise, but reputation certainly does help.
It matters. Yeah.
And for an All-Pro list, now they do 2 teams, the first and second team. Mm-hmm. It's hard to make this.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not like 4 guys at each position.
Yeah.
And so an edge rusher, that's why Josh Allen, unless he has a 20-sack year,
I'm not sitting here going, Josh Allen earned it over Myles Garrett or even Max Crosby at this point. But, if I said to you before you read that list, give me 2 Jaguars making a midseason All-Pro list.
Yeah, Darius Williams has been very good. I don't know if...
Awful game against the Niners, by the way.
Everybody did. I did keep McCaffrey out of the end zone. He did. But I don't know if I would put Williams. I think he actually, what's funny about Williams is he didn't play well against the Bills. But he got a pick in that game.
Yes, he did.
And it was a really nice pick. So made up for it. Yeah, I would say a guy like Josh Allen is playing every bit as good as a Foye Oluokun.
Sure.
I think my only issue with Travis Etienne, he's got to be a little more consistent. I mean, I didn't even know he was on the field. And sometimes he wasn't, I think, after getting that hit on Sunday. But you get my point. So it's by nature, that's a position where it comes and goes a little bit. You're not going to do it every week. But I feel like the Jags need him to do it almost every week.
Oh, man.
Get this offense cooking. 4 o'clock hour, we will take a look at that AFC playoff picture. It is absolutely loaded. Could the Jags make it as a wild card if Houston does the unthinkable? Story next on ESPN 690.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey, poker fans, catch all the action at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, there is no better time than now to head to the poker rooms. November highlights include the $300 St. Augustine Championship with a $30,000 guarantee at Best Bet St. Augustine, high hand promotions at all locations, and holiday high hams at Jacksonville all month long. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial ** invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call now for your free evaluation and see if multi-unit hair grafting or PRP can restore your hair. Call 904-777-IHRS.
My bald spots are gone. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS is the only clinic in the Southeast to offer all proven solutions to restore your hair and is now offering multi-unit hair grafting. One procedure, more hair.
You've got nothing to lose but more hair. I feel younger, I look younger, and who doesn't want to feel better about themselves?
This year, grow your hair back. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-4477.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 in a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Ken Dorsey's out as the Bills' offensive coordinator in less than 2 years, fired today. Buffalo's offense has experienced a huge drop-off since starting the season 3-1. The last 6 weeks, quarterback Josh Allen and company have scored under 26 points. Allen has at least one interception in that span as well. The Bills have lost 4 of 6. They're currently 10th in the AFC. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano.
It feels like a scapegoat move to me. It feels like a panic move to me.
from talking to people around that situation, just today, it sounds like what the Bills felt like their offense should be better this year than it was last year. And I think, overall, you have a team that's 5-5 that expected to compete for the Super Bowl, feels like it's going in the wrong direction.
Dan Graziano on Carlin versus Joe. Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady is Buffalo's interim OC. NFL suspended Texans linebacker Denzel Perryman 3 games for a repeated violation of player safety rules. The latest, a helmet to hit on Sunday. Iowa's Caitlin Clark, UConn's Paige Beckers, LSU's Angel Reese headlined the preseason list of candidates for the John R. Wooden Award.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
4 o'clock hour, Brent Martineau along with Aaron Schachter and Kasey Kuhrts. Got a lot more NFL talk. AFC's picture is crazy right now. Can the Jags make it as a wild card team if things go south in the AFC South when it comes to the division? That'll be a conversation point we have in just a couple of moments. But first, our injury update with JOI.
This week's injury update is brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. JOI is the official sports medicine provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It is good for the first time here in Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 to have Dr. Hiram Carrasquillo on the show, orthopedic surgeon from JOI, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Doc, thanks for taking a few minutes. Hope you're doing well.
Great, thank you.
Do you, how much are you paying attention to some of the injuries around sports, and how common do you see in your what you do on a day-to-day basis from a youth sports level and just a recreational level, just all the different injuries we get in our sports world?
Well, we'll see that on the day-to-day. As you mentioned, we see all kinds of injuries from contact, as you can imagine. I do mostly foot and ankle specialty care for colleges and high schools around the city.
How tricky can those be for parents and kids listening? And obviously, I would imagine with a foot and ankle, you're pretty obvious if you have something pretty severe. But what's the variation of injuries that you get? And also, how tricky can some of those be to recover and get back on the field or playing surface?
That's a great question. I mean, there are all kinds of injuries. Some of them are the common garden variety ankle sprain that requires a little care, and some other more dramatic injuries from fractures that will be a season-ending injury, and everybody wants to be back as soon as possible, and everybody wants to be treated with the highest technological advances and for this kind of injuries, and expect to be back sooner than ever.
I feel like we get a lot of sprained ankles in sports, kind of like to the tune of hamstrings. I guess we get a lot of hamstrings that we see. We're seeing a lot of that with the Jags or even in the NFL as a whole. But are sprained ankles and say like a hamstring type injury, I know they're not similar by nature, but maybe by recovery time or kind of tricky in terms of the severity to judge how long an athlete might be out?
Yeah, it's quite different than a hamstring, but there are different kinds of ankle sprains that come on garden variety from a twisting injury, and then there is a high ankle sprain that may take a little longer and sometimes require surgical intervention.
Those high ankle sprains, those are a pest, aren't they?
Yes, they are. You can see every week somebody getting out because of it.
Yeah.
To get back sooner and sooner.
Yeah, and if you rush back, obviously it doesn't go so well. Hey, a little something different. We always talk about some of the injuries here on the show with our JOI docs, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Dr. Hiram Carrasquillo joining us right now. But you guys do a big charity effort around the Thanksgiving holiday with the Sulzbacher Center. Our Hearts to Your Souls Foundation. Can you give us a little bit more about what you guys have been doing and how you're helping the community?
Yes. This started as a nonprofit in Pittsburgh by the kids of a good friend of mine, Dr. Conti. And back in 2006, it quickly became a nationwide event. And sometime around 2008, we started doing it here in Jacksonville at Sulzbacher. So we've been going for 15 years now.
And obviously you serve a lot of folks with that. And is this as simple as collecting a lot of shoes for people to wear around Jacksonville?
Well, not only that, Brent, we also provide basic foot care for the clients at the Sulzbacher.
Obviously, that's a big deal. Our Hearts to Your Souls Foundation, joionline.net has some more information about that. Is this a collection throughout the calendar year, but highlighted right about now during the time of giving and Thanksgiving?
That is correct, during the Thanksgiving holiday, yes.
By the way, let's back to, what did you say again, Doc? 2006 this started, brought to Jacksonville 2006, 2007?
2008, yeah.
2008. So, again, people can get a little more information at this, joionline.net. And this sounds like something that was near and dear to your heart that you brought down with you to Jacksonville.
Yeah, it sure is. It feels like, we have so much to be thankful, and we should be able to give back to the community. Yeah.
Absolutely. Dr. Hiram Carrasquillo, appreciate your time today here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Orthopedic surgeon at JOI, Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You can read more of Dr. Carrasquillo's story at joionline.net. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you, and go Jags.
Absolutely. Thanks to our doctors from JOI. We visit with several different docs throughout the football season and get more information on some of the injuries that are going around, and a special one here during this Thanksgiving holiday coming up, fastly approaching, by the way, and given back to the Sulzbacher Center with a very cool cause of Our Hearts to Your Souls Foundation. And you can see more, once again, joionline.net. Jacksonville Jaguars find themselves in a big-time race in the AFC South, just a game ahead of the Houston Texans. I say that to you a couple of weeks ago. You've been like, I don't know if it's a big-time race. They're going to run away with it in this race. Not anymore the case, guys. There's some concern and now curiosity, and I think fun. Like, I think this is fun. It's okay. Everybody, I think this is kind of a college football and sometimes whatever mentality. Don't we like competition in sports? Yeah, it's the clean path to the championship is fine, but that's not how it works. That's phony. Like, you've got to get it. You've got to earn it. You've got to find your way there. This shouldn't be that surprising that some team was going to threaten the Jags in the AFC South.
Not so much surprising, but when the expectation is your team is going to run away with it, then it's disappointing when they don't, period. Even though competition is fun.
But it's not their fault they're not running away with it. They're 6-3. That's a good record, man.
That's pretty good.
Like, that's a good record. That's one of the best records in the National Football League.
But it also feels less than because we know the team isn't hitting their potential and they're not knocking on all cylinders. So combine that with the fact that the Texans are better than a lot of people thought they were, and it could possibly trick you into thinking the Jags aren't doing well right now, when in fact they are, but it's still a disappointment. Is that possible? Can the Jags be doing well and you still be disappointed in the team? It might be.
Kasey, this could really screw up your 1-2 finish on this preseason wager you put on.
If I lose this because Houston finishes in first and not second, I will be so incredibly mad. You can't even put words to how upset I'll be.
I would like you to try if it happens, though.
I can't say I'm on here. It'll be like a text message thing.
We got a dump button. It'll be fine.
I'm the one running it,
though. Do you think am I crazy to think that this could be a good thing for the Jags, that the Houston Texans are in the mix?
Yes.
Probably.
And I understand where you're like, competition makes people play harder maybe and stuff like that.
It avoids complacency that sets in, don't you think?
A little bit. But at the same time, you'd rather the clear path.
Can't we just have it our way once?
One time.
Like at BK, it's always your way. But with the Jags, it's never. It always has to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But at the end of the day, I don't believe it's as difficult as we want to make it out to be. There's a little friction here, but you shouldn't win the division 9 weeks into the season.
Sure.
No,
Kansas City does it every year.
Okay, but you also thought the collective you, not Brent Martineau, but everybody, thought the AFC South was maybe the weakest division in football.
Maybe, but we also know whatever we think we know never works in the NFL.
That's fair.
Like it just doesn't. AFC West was supposed to be the best one last year, and it sucked.
Yep.
So
real bad. Kansas City won it by week 9.
And the NFC East was terrific. And I don't know if everybody expected every team in the East to be terrific last year.
Case, if you could time travel back to last season and ask Kansas City fans in Week 10 if they're happy their team has the West wrapped up, you think any of them are like, we'd much rather see competition with the Broncos and the Raiders.
We'd like it to be close in Week 14. Yeah,
We'd like it still on the line, please.
Okay, so here's my point. By Thanksgiving weekend, you can feel really good about the Jags wrapping up the division. It still won't be done, but you can feel really good about it. Because if the Jags win the next 2 games, they are now 8-3. They have not been swept by Houston. And Houston would be, even if we give them a win against Arizona, they would then be 6-5 after 11 games. Jags would have a 2-game lead with 5 to play. No, that'd be 6 to play. And I guess like part of this is you're not going to wrap it up, but it's going to feel really good if you beat Houston and Tennessee.
Yeah.
In the next 2 weeks. That it could be wrapped up.
Houston also doesn't feel like a team that's going to come and get you. Houston feels like one of those teams that's just going to hang around unless you mess it up enough.
Well, yeah. And see, right now I don't feel like the Jags have messed it up. That's a good. This is interesting context. The overall thought is that if the Jags don't win the division, they screwed it up. And we might be right if they go from 6-2 to like
7-10,
9-8, or 8-9, or whatever, right? Gosh, please don't tell me 7-10. This is going to be a miserable existence over the next couple weeks. Actually, don't tell me any of the records I just gave you, or it might be a miserable existence over the next
really,
couple months.
Less than 10 wins at this point is going to hurt.
But I don't feel like, so I believe the Jags are going to get to 10 wins at a minimum. If the Jags get to 10 wins at a minimum and they lose the division, I mean, somewhere in there you better hat tip Houston, because nobody in their right mind thought Houston could get to 10 or 11 wins.
I know someone who thought Houston could get there.
He thought they could get to 7 wins at the max.
That's not what I said.
What did you say?
I said whatever the wins were. I think it was 5.5. I took the over.
You did. So 6.
No, I said they could win any amount from 6 to 17. That's what that means. That's what the over means.
Yeah, technically he's right. Give the win to Kasey here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What's
runner-up for man of the year?
There you go.
Well, I'm going to be interested to watch Houston here now because I think they're getting a lot of love. And so when a team gets a lot of love, this team hasn't handled it that well, right? They're a 1-0, and hey, everything's good. They lost 2 in a row. They win 5 in a row. Everybody's talking about them. Play San Francisco. Boom. Thud. We'll see if Houston can handle the love the way they're getting it.
Sure.
And now eyes on them. Because let's be honest, they're about as sneaky as the Jags were last year at the end of the year right now.
That's fair.
When the Jags were 3-7, nobody was worried about them. And then all of a sudden it was like collapsed by Tennessee, and here come the Jags. And it's like, where did this come from? And you looked up too late and started to worry about them for the rest of the teams. And they did the same thing, by the way, in the playoff game. And they actually did the same thing in every game they played. They came back from like double digits down in all of them. I think Houston has people's attention because Stroud was such a high pick and he's performing so well early. But I still don't believe I think people still think, well, Houston, that's nice. But are they really good? Are they really good? Well, I think now when you're 5-4 and this kid's been putting on a show, you're getting people's attention, eyes, extra tape watching, trying to figure them out. I think there's going to be a lot more of that. This will not be an easy path for Houston is my point.
Well, Seth Walder at ESPN kind of agrees with you. He did the NFL playoff picture tiers for 2023, projected all 32 teams in the league and where they stand and what tier they are to make the playoffs. And right now he's got the Jaguars in tier 3, which is titled likely in the playoffs, barring a collapse. He's got the Jags chances to make the playoffs at 79%. So pretty much a lock at this point.
Last week it was like 90-something, I think.
Chances to win the AFC South, 63%. So still favored, but not necessarily as locky as the shot to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, over in Tier 5, not 4, Tier 5, which is titled On the Fringes of Hope and Despair, Walter has the Steelers, the Chargers, the Falcons, and the Texans. And so at least from this analysis over at ESPN.com, Seth seems to think the Jaguars are fairly protected at this point, that they're going to take care of business. They're going to win the AFC South likely, and that they were almost a lock at this point to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's go to that side, because if the unthinkable happens and Houston just keeps winning, I mean, they do have a good schedule. They own the Jags at home. They're 3-1 at home, although the Jags are 4-0 on the road.
That's right. Walter says the Jaguars are in excellent position to make the playoffs, not just for the reason we thought entering the season, though. It's been their defense, which is ranked 4th in EPA per play entering Week 10, leading the way through a blowout loss to San Francisco. Doesn't help, by the way. Jacksonville's weaknesses are on the other side of the ball, as the play of its offensive line and its pass catcher's ability to limit drops will ultimately determine whether the team can evolve into something beyond just likely AFC South champs.
Listen,
and Seth isn't far off.
Now, the Chiefs, by the way, have a 3-game lead in the West, and they are the Chiefs. The Ravens only have a half-game lead in the North. The Dolphins now have a 2-game lead with the loss by the Buffalo Bills. Well, it's actually 1.5. Yeah, 1.5. They must be going on a bye week.
And the Dolphins lost to the Bills.
They did lose to the Bills.
They still have to play the Jets.
So let's just assume those 3 teams win and they stay their order. Right now, what my question is, can the Jags make it as a wild card if the unthinkable happens? And I think the Jags are actually in a pretty good spot here, because they've already beaten Pittsburgh, and they play the Browns and the Bengals and the Ravens. So you have a chance to beef up the AFC record. You've got to obviously win games against the Titans. I think if the Jags were to lose a division, that means Houston wins this game coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that seems to be at a minimum.
Right? And what else is left on the schedule? The Bucs and Carolina won't factor in as much here. Wins could, but I'm just saying they won't in the AFC tie-breaking standings.
Yeah.
So the Jags at this moment are 4-2 in the conference, and that's a critical thing when you're talking about tiebreakers, and we could have a very muddy AFC. So if they were, again, this is in a scenario which I think you have to at least play it out here this way. If Houston just keeps beating people and they were to win like 11 games and sweep the Jags and win the division because of that, and the Jags were to win like 11 games or 10 games and end up with the 7th spot or 6th spot in the wild card, a fight for that, what would it take? Well, I think what it would take is the Jags beating like the Titans twice and winning 2 out of 3 potentially against
the big ones,
the North, right? Those.
You may also end up with a playoff game if Houston wins out and then ends up in winning the South. Playoff game where the Jags go back to Houston.
It could, yeah.
That'd be wild.
That would be pretty wild.
Casey, you're shaking your head, but that's the atmosphere I think you're going to see in that Texans game when the Jags go to Houston in 2 weeks.
Oh, it's going to be big.
It's the same atmosphere you're going to see this weekend when the Ravens play the Bengals. I mean, these are essentially playoff games in Week 10 and 11.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It doesn't. Again, I just can't. There's just some weird thing going on with Houston.
History is any indication.
It's everywhere else. Like you'd almost rather play. Like you'd be like, okay, I'll take my chances.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Hey, who else? So 7 teams make it right now in the 8th spot. This is just how precarious this is for some. The Bengals are 5-4, and in that, like, if they're having the same conversation in Cincinnati, they need to do some work in a hurry because they're 1-4 in the AFC. That's a major problem.
That's going to bite them. Yeah.
That is a major problem for the Bengals. The Colts are 5-5. They're 4-3. The Bills are 2-5 in the conference
and falling.
Like wild card wise, that's going to be a big problem if they don't win the. Now they're only a game and a half with Miami, and they get them again.
But now you're going up against the Jets defense with an OC who's not an OC, and a DC who's not a DC.
Yeah, but Joe Brady's done it.
With the Carolina Panthers, we saw how that went.
What you mean? He did it at LSU.
Yeah, in college.
With a bunch of pros like Burrow and Chase
Against
and Jefferson.
Against non-pros, yes.
What you mean?
Yeah, the whole offense.
They
was a
played
pro.
the Gators. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do you guys think, like, let's just take the bottom feeders here. The Patriots are done. We think Tennessee is not. They're going to have to show something if they're going to contend.
Broncos
but they're
showing
not.
some life.
They might kick the Patriots out of the league. So bad they are.
The Broncos have won 3 in a row.
No.
You don't think they make the play? They'll keep rolling?
No.
Broncos are showing some life.
I mean, Russell Wilson's playing really good quarterback.
Top 3 quarterback play.
I'm glad they're alive.
And it's in tweets,
Their
by
defense
the way.
has been better.
No. What are we talking about?
Will they be the first team in NFL history to make the playoffs after giving up 70 points?
No.
The first team to give up 70. I think the Broncos are in it. I don't think they make it, but I think they're in it.
By the way, he should have got fired. A team that gave up 70 held you to what? 20? We're good. You got to go.
Hey, the Broncos or the Raiders right now? Who do you give more life to?
Broncos, because
Broncos.
It's Broncos. And by the way, Raiders have a better record.
They do by half a game.
The Broncos have real football players.
Yeah, but the Broncos also have like a coach that's done it, and a quarterback that's done it.
That's what I mean by real
talented
football players.
Yeah.
How about the Chargers? Where do you guys sit on the Chargers? Are they going to make a run? They're 4-5.
I think they have the best shot out of the West besides the Chiefs. Yeah. Like they're certainly very far from done.
Chargers are dead.
I'll say this about the Jags. Like, they got to play the North, which is already tough. But it doesn't matter who you play in the AFC. The AFC East would have been tough. Well,
the West is tough this year, yeah.
But the West right now, like, I wouldn't want the 3-game gauntlet going against the West.
Like, which team in the West do you want to play, Case? You got the Raiders on a streak. You got the Broncos on a streak. You got the Chiefs being the Chiefs. Like, the Chargers
Well, they've already
are looking
played the
good.
Chiefs. So if you're talking about the other 3 versus the 3 that they will have to play in Cleveland, Baltimore, and Cincinnati, I would rather play the West 25 times.
Like, I understand Cincinnati. It's hard to count them out because of Burrow and Chase, period, full stop. But, like, they're sliding backwards.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
And
That's
the Browns'
fine.
offense is in shambles almost every game.
Yeah, if you're telling me I can play the Raiders or the Bengals, I will take
Ravens just lost another game in the fourth quarter. I think that's the 3rd time or 2nd time this year.
If you're telling me I could play the Chargers or the Ravens, I'll take Brandon Staley. If you're telling me I can play Denver or Cleveland, I'll take a trip to Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to say Denver over Cleveland. I'm just saying right now the West is playing really good football.
Isn't there some crazy, like, is it half the teams or up to 6 teams usually annually don't make the playoffs after making them the year prior?
Oh, I don't know the stat, but
It's
this is
right around
the thing
6,
where, like,
maybe.
you always have people regress, yeah.
Well, okay, so let's get last year's playoffs, all right? Kansas City. Looks like they're going again. The Bills, right now on the outside looking in.
Not going.
In a major way. The Bengals on the outside looking in right now.
Going.
The Jags are in right now.
They're going.
The Chargers on the outside looking in.
Not going.
Not going.
The Ravens.
Going.
They're going.
Going. And the Dolphins.
Going.
This is emphatic over there. It's like having fun with this. You kept that energy up for all 7 of them. I'm impressed. You've got 7 more in the NFC, but let's stay here for a second. So that's 3 that you guys don't think will go. The Bills. Well, you think actually the Bengals will go?
I believe the Bengals are going.
I don't think the Bengals go.
But right now, if it started today, the Bills, the Bengals, and the Chargers would be out.
Good thing it doesn't start today.
Pretty interesting. Houston would get in.
Told you.
The who else would get in? Hold on a second. I got to go back to my other sheet.
Houston's in, the Browns are in, the Steelers are in, the Dolphins are in.
Houston, Browns, Steelers are the 3 that replace them.
Who aren't winning.
Well,
their
that's
divisions.
weird. Steelers. The Bengals, the Bills, and the Chargers out. The Texans, the Browns, and the Steelers in.
A couple of those teams feel beatable, even in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. On the other side of things, last year Philly made it. They're in. San Fran made it. They're in. The Vikings.
I think they're in.
Tampa.
Not going.
I'm not sure.
Who's winning the South?
The Saints.
Somebody.
Are they? They lost last week too, didn't they?
Saints are 5-5.
Right now, they do hold that spot. But I'm not sure who's winning. Cowboys. They're in. Giants would be out.
Out.
Not going.
And they're definitely not going. And Seattle.
Going.
But Lions are going. They didn't go last year.
Lions are
So
definitely
really, it's just one. You're swapping the Lions for the Giants.
Pretty much.
That'd be kind of odd.
Vikings are on the bubble for me.
Who won the South last
Yeah,
year?
but the Vikings right now are on the bubble with the Bucks, so one of those teams would go anyway.
Right.
Was Brady playing last
year? Brady did play
I
last year.
forgot about that. Okay, so yeah. I don't know who's winning the South, but it doesn't matter. They'll lose in the first round. All I know is it ain't Carolina. They picked Bryce Young instead of C.J. Stroud.
So right now, the way it sits in the AFC, there would be 3 teams that would miss the playoffs from last year, 3 go. In the NFC, it would be 1. And maybe the biggest upset of everything here is two teams from the AFC South right now would go to the playoffs.
You might get 3 if you mess around a little too much.
The Colts do have 5 wins.
Colts are sitting there in the 9th spot. Kasey, don't make a face.
All right.
And they have a better conference record than your Bengals.
You're telling me you believe the Steelers will be there when it's said and done?
No.
Okay, so then someone's popping up. You think it's the Bengals, but the Colts are a half game behind them.
I would bet everything I've ever owned or will own again on Joe Burrow over Gardner Minshew.
In a single game?
On Zach Taylor over Shane Steichen.
Yes.
On Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd over Pittman and the other humans that play for the Colts.
I'm still feeling like a $10 for bet about it. Colts over the Bengals. For fun.
Are you serious?
For bet about it.
Of course.
For bet about it.
There's not a number that you would have just said that I wouldn't have said okay.
$800 billion.
That we both have.
Oh, one of us has it. I hacked Brent's bank account.
Oh, good. He does get a lot of checks.
He gets a lot of checks.
Crazy. The Houston Texans are 2-2 against the NFC South, and right now they are already 2-1 against the NFC North, with just the Browns to play. Pretty good. Jags need to go 2-2 against the North and 4-0 against that NFC South, in my opinion. They can do it. We'll be back, Brent and Friends, on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy and breezy today with a few scattered showers. Highs near 70 degrees. Scattered showers continue tonight down to the low 60s and mostly cloudy with some more rain tomorrow. Your Wednesday high, 73. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now save 43% off everything in the store during Beard's 43rd anniversary sale.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with the Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air, and they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you.
Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-onefcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent wing Wednesday, $3 draft Thursday, and $3 seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-406-0881. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-406-0881. That's 800-406-0881. Again, 800-406-0881.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball, the opening tip is almost here. UNFospreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of basketball. Season tickets, flex plans, and premium seat and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men's team always play an exciting brand of basketball. And welcome new women's coach Erica Lambert to UNF Arena. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. See one and you'll want to see more. UNFospreys.com.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
It's old school card collecting with new school breaks. Davoli's House of Cards does it all. Missing a card from an old 1987 baseball top set? They probably have it. Want to join in on a live TikTok break with the hottest new cards? You can do it with Davoli's House of Cards. Stop on by, talk some sports, find your favorite cards for your kids or for you, like when you were a kid. From Trevor Lawrence rookies to Pokemon and more, Davoli's House of Cards on 210. And join their live breaks on TikTok at Davoli's House of Breaks.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
The Immaculate Grid conversations are fantastic.
I mean, shout out to homie Bronson Arroyo, but...
Is it Arroyo? It was Arroyo.
What do you guys know?
How to say his name?
My dad knows it.
Oh, shout out to Chip for knowing Bronson Arroyo.
There you go.
Does he know Bronson Arroyo or Bronson Arroyo?
Both.
It's a lot of people.
Two.
Could go for an Oreo.
How about a pirate with 200 wins? Did you go for that?
Good luck to you. Bronson Arroyo with 148. Don't use him.
Close. I knew it.
Don't use him.
How many of the shirts that McAfee wears do you think he actually has?
I think he's got a closet full of black tanks. I do. It's very much Zuckerberg with the hoodies.
Like, it's such a weird...
It's uniform.
I mean, I get it, but, like, never mixing it up.
Branding. I'm down. Look, man, if I was barrel-chested like that dude, I'd be showing it off, too.
I don't know. Like, yeah, I guess. Like, you tell me, like, this is a good look.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time staring at his chest. I think it's a good look.
I don't know. I've seen McAfee everywhere, and I'm just looking at it right now on ESPN. I'm like, I don't know. Why?
Yeah.
Or something like he'd probably be a good sweatshirt guy.
It is a weird branding thing. I actually thought of him as like one of these tap-out shirt guys.
Yeah.
But he chooses what he chooses.
He does. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Your guy Hackett, by the way, Aaron Rodgers says, I'm a believer in the offense.
Yeah. Well, he has to now because he was caught on the sideline giving a look of disapproval on a Hackett play call. You know, all the sideline walking from Aaron Rodgers makes you think if he's going to quickly transition into that life after playing. I'm not sure that he will. He doesn't seem like that guy. But it is kind of cool to think about it. Like, he's getting a little bit of a head start here.
Who has transitioned well?
From player to coach? Antonio Pierce.
No, player to anything. I'm talking about mega stars, right? Like, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, a mega star. Brady. Like, what's he even doing?
He
Being
owns like
rich.
part of the Raiders. What's that?
Being rich.
Yeah, so he's not really doing anything yet, right?
Yeah, he's mentoring.
He's doing a good job of being rich.
He was mentoring
Which
young
is
players at the
smart.
beginning, at the onset of this season.
When's he joining the Fox crew?
Next year, I think.
Next year.
Oh, okay. So
If ever.
Yeah, if it doesn't fall out, though, they're paying him a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Tony Romo.
Yeah, Romo's done really well.
I'm not sitting here comparing Tom Brady to Tony
No,
Romo,
making
but
like
there's
17,
literally
18
nowhere to
million.
go from Tom
Well,
Brady.
if you're going Romo, then you go Greg Olsen as well.
No.
Okay,
Romo's
all right,
better
let's
than
get-
Olsen.
People
First of
love
all-
Greg Olsen in the booth.
Greg Olsen's good in the booth. I'm just saying, but Tony Romo, Greg Olsen.
You're not talking booth guys. I'm talking even Romo, like,
Not superstar enough.
yeah.
Magic Johnson as a business owner.
Bro, the superstars just go call it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like you're
Michael
looking at the
Jordan.
Manning brothers. Like, what are they doing actually outside of Monday nights? Like, Monday night's just like a hobby.
Peyton does a lot of stuff. Eli doesn't do much.
And you wonder what. I don't feel like Eli's involved in anything.
Nah, he just shows up to get paid on Mondays.
But that's
and calls
smart.
it.
Like, that's,
Yeah, exactly.
That's okay.
No, I'm with him. That's what I would do. I wouldn't even show up on Mondays.
I mean, Dion's coaching. What are the headaches that comes with? Holy
Yeah,
cow!
for sure.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Where are we at on Dion?
Yeah, they're not too good.
Kind of settled in a little bit.
Never forget, though, Nebraska +3.
You
Never
guys,
forget.
you guys remember beginning of the season? I said 11-0. You guys called me stupid.
How many wins do they actually have? Like, they have fallen off the face.
I don't think they've won since.
I will say he got
Did
a
they
little bit
lose
of a.
last week? That was a close game, I thought.
I'm pretty sure.
Dion got a little bit of a padding when Travis went out with the laceration.
But now
But
he's
he's
back.
Unfortunately, for Dion.
So, do you think? Did you see? There's obviously a lot of hey, Dion, Texas A&M.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke there.
That would be wild.
Would it be good?
Be wild.
I don't think Dion could do
It's been
the
pretty
Dion
wild
thing.
in Colorado too, but I think it's been good in Colorado. It's hard. Like in the first 2 months, they got their money's worth, whether he never won a game again.
But the reality is,
Which
he
he
came
might
into
not.
Colorado as a one-win team. Like, can you do the same nonsense at Texas A&M that you did at Colorado? I don't know that you could.
And the one thing I would say, if he goes to Texas A&M, he probably shouldn't tell all of his players to transfer because he's going to need those boys.
Yeah,
Especially his linemen, because that's the biggest problem he's got. Ain't
Well-
nobody blocking anybody.
he was asked about it today, and I think he said something to the effect of, "I don't pay attention to it," which he never said. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Also, these guys are well scripted and taught to not say no because that just means more money for you for the school to keep you.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I think is dumb. School, if you want Texas A&M to have Dabo Swinney, you don't need to give Dabo a raise on a 4-loss year, okay? He's making enough money. If he wants to go, let him go. I'm not like, give you everything we got. Dion especially not. But Dion would be, I just don't know how we feel about Deion Sanders. Like, he's got to stay there and build something, I think. I don't think he can just do this 1 year, everything was great, 3 wins, and then that's it.
No, he can't do that.
I also just don't know if, to your point, I think you just kind of said this, the stuff would work
At
at Texas A&M. Like, some people say A&M, like, I've never been there, but some people from the outside, like, it's kind of a quirky place.
Well, yeah, they do that thing at midnight.
Well, they do a bunch of things, right? And I just don't know if that fits what I feel like is Dion's personality, which I'm really, like, majorly stereotyping probably here, but I just don't feel like that fit. Like Colorado, okay, that's worked. But I also don't know how I felt about it when he was initially announced at Colorado.
What about the rumor on Norvell to A&M opening up FSU for a guy like Dion?
Norvell ain't going A.
That'd be
well,
wild.
I don't think so either, but Dion played at FSU, so maybe there's a connection there. And, like, do I think he could do the Colorado stuff at FSU? Maybe not to that degree, but certainly more than I think he could do it at A&M.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, FSU would be more of a feel than a place like Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Like, at least outside looking in stuff. Again, I would agree with you. Norvell, by the way, is making $8 million a year.
Yeah, not cheap.
I didn't know he was making that much.
I saw that yesterday.
They're undefeated. It's a bargain.
Wait a minute. Norvell will earn an average of $8 million per year with the new agreement. Okay.
It's a bargain.
How's he earn an average of 8.05 and he's only getting like 5 this year and 8 in his final year?
Big signing bonus.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I
maybe
guess
it's a
must
big
be
signing bonus.
They backloaded the whole thing because they were still paying Willie Taggart.
So that's actually not different than how much more was Fisher was getting, like 7.5 a year
At A&M?
Yeah.
I thought it was around there. I only saw the.
It was a 10-year deal worth like $75 million or something, 76.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
And they extended him one time.
Nice. That was a good decision.
He must be making more. There's no way. Jimbo Fisher got to be making more money than Norvell.
$9 million.
It was $9 million on average?
In 21, they extended his contract for an additional 4 years through 2031. They gave him an annual of $9 million.
See, it's not as much about what they're making, though. It's also what you can spend. And the reason why Texas A&M was attractive or LSU's attractive is because they'll go to the end of the earth to spend it, whereas other places aren't going to do that. Yeah. I mean, Florida State has a budget. You know,
State school.
And like LSU doesn't.
I'd be shocked if Norvell left.
I would too.
At least right now.
What about Dabo?
I would be less shocked.
To A&M?
It doesn't really fit, but I would be less shocked.
You know what crossed my mind?
No.
Is Dabo leaves, and it's all because of the caller.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Like,
Brent.
why not? I know, but the perception is everything went sour once the guy called in.
That's fair.
You know, he got 4 losses. He got mad. They actually beat Notre Dame after that.
What about the Packers head coach?
Matt LaFleur.
Here's the thing about anybody in the NFL. If you're coaching in the NFL, the draw to go back to college is like none.
Fair, but he's going to get blown out after this year.
Is he?
The team stinks.
Probably.
I saw somebody's, isn't Dan Campbell's a Texas A&M alum?
Bro, Dan Campbell ain't doing it.
He's up for coach of the year every year.
I know, but why would, that's what I'm saying. Like, why would Dan Campbell want to go recruit, deal with NIL and transfer portal when he can just deal with free agency and grown men? And probably gets paid handsomely.
Sure. Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, you can't really do the biting kneecaps thing in college.
That's probably the only gig he's going to get.
You're right. You can't do that, I don't think.
No.
They just pay a junior to do it.
Now, I will say this about Campbell. Now, he would motivate some young men.
Oh, yeah.
He motivates grown men. Maybe just stay doing that.
Maybe Ed Reed finally catches on with the school.
Too big.
Obviously.
This is going to be an important hire for Texas A&M.
Really. Oh, yeah.
Because
why? They paid their other guy $80 million to go away?
Because the roster's got like $200 million on it. Like, they got to do something with this team.
Well, because of this, it's really, I believe there's multiple ways to go now getting the coach. You go get the proven guy and steal him from another school, which they did with Jimbo Fisher, which means they're probably not going to do that again, because once you do that and it doesn't work, you don't do it again.
You got to swing the pendulum.
So then do you go get, now they still could with like a Lane Kiffin or with a Norvell or with a Dabo Swinney or whatever else. Do you go get the up-and-coming guy? The guy that, wherever he is now, Coastal Carolina to Liberty or Fresno State to Washington or whatever. Did they go to Texas A&M? That's one way to look at it. Or now Dion brings this new wave potential coach into play. I think with the way he's done things, can you find that guy, that almost a former athlete but also iconic cool guy, where you get everybody buzzing?
Did you see the thing today from
Not many Dion's out there, though.
From the Liberty coach?
No.
So he
is this the location scandal?
Yeah.
What
so
happened?
the head coach of Liberty is Jamie Chadwell.
Yeah, he was at Coastal, right?
Yes. And now he's at Liberty, and today he was in Starkville, Mississippi, because he tweeted about his coach's show on Wednesday with his location on.
Ooh.
So
really?
It is led to believe that he interviewed to be the head coach in Mississippi State.
Yeah, he was on the job interview that day, wasn't he?
Yeah. So shout out to that guy for leaving his location.
How about the guy in Mississippi State, man? It lasted a year.
Yeah, you got to go. That was a tough one.
That's tough, man. Well, listen, unless you just pull the plug because you don't know. Or, I mean, you know it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I guess that's a possibility. But here's the other thing, guys. This is what I say. Can the AD be responsible for something here?
No, he's busy.
Or the boosters? Because if you hired a guy and you got to fire him less than 12 months later
and pay out nearly $100 million.
Well, this one wouldn't be for that. He wasn't making crazy money. Then you suck at it. You're right. Like, you're not good. Like, that's on you.
Yeah.
Like, I believe these ADs should start going on probation. Like, if they can't hire a coach and they're going to pay this kind of money, of course, it comes with approval from the president and the boosters and everybody else. But, man, either give the guy a chance or you made such a bad hire that within a year you know it's not going to work. Man, seems like ground for at least probation.
The wild part is you're paying all these dudes to go coach in the same conference as Saban.
I know it.
The same division. Like, you can't possibly win this. and you're going to pay $80, $90 million to a guy you're going to fire because he couldn't beat Saban.
I know.
But nobody's been able to beat Saban since Saban became Saban. So, yeah, good math, everybody.
How many coaches have been fired because of Saban?
All of them. Every coach of Auburn and Texas A&M and Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin's next. Like, it's really everybody on that side.
It's a lot like what we do with quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Like, if you haven't shown us something in 2 years, then you stink. Like, we cast you off. But I don't know who started that. Because, again, guys like Brady were not like the greatest of all time right off the rip. Mahomes is probably the latest example, but he's somewhat of a newer example. Was it Cam Newton? Got some instant results from Cam?
I mean, he was the best rookie quarterback ever, so maybe he's not an example as much as an anomaly.
I know, but I think people said, okay, they did it. We got to find that guy, too.
Andrew Luck was good.
Andrew Luck might be a better example because he looked like a quarterback. Like Cam was like this massive human being.
Yeah. But I just think our patience with quarterbacks somewhere in there or along the way or whenever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it got exacerbated the last few years because Lamar Jackson, year 2, wins MVP. Patrick Mahomes, year 2, wins MVP. So these guys start putting on C.J. Stroud's going to change this. It's like, what the hell?
But then there's a whole Bryce Young that's like, can I just get a receiver?
I think more so than the quarterback play, it's the contract structuring is what forces this. Because if your quarterback can be mediocre on that rookie deal as a rookie and then be good, like you can afford
take off in
pieces.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what opened a little bit in Trevor, right? Started off slow, build up, and then you're okay paying it for years to come. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Don't forget, we'll be at Perfect Rack Billiards on Friday, 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Come on out. We'll give some things away. We'll have some food, drinks, play some pool, talk some sports. Friday, 3 p.m. at Perfect Rack Billiards. From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team, and it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
Jay is a foodie and a chef.
I'm a food truck owner with dreams of something bigger.
And at Community First, we get that. And we get you. We were founded over 88 years ago to help members live their best lives by providing the financial services they need. Today, that includes digital banking, great rates, and local decision-making. So just be yourself at Community First and on the go. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
It's old school card collecting with new school breaks. Davoli's House of Cards does it all. Missing a card from an old 1987 baseball top set? They probably have it. Want to join in on a live TikTok break with the hottest new cards? You can do it with Davoli's House of Cards. Stop on by, talk some sports, find your favorite cards for your kids or for you, like when you were a kid. From Trevor Lawrence rookies to Pokemon and more, Davoli's House of Cards on 210. And join their live breaks on TikTok at Davoli's House of Breaks.
Hello out there, all you hard workers. It's me, Pete the Job Guy.
And Angie, the boss.
And together we run Ascendo Resources, the best staffing agency in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's right, folks. We can help you with accounting, finance, technology, administrative, anything you need, we can help on a temporary, temp to hire, and permanent basis. So call the true professionals today at 904-663-2654 because you deserve it.
It's a beautiful time of year here in Northeast Florida, and when you live in this part of the country, you love to take advantage of November, December, January when the weather's a bit cooler and comfortable. But what if you're not comfortable? You sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back, shoulders, or hips? You know, joint pain doesn't just keep you from doing what you love in the outdoors. It affects your job, your relationships, even simple things like getting dressed. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. If this is you, it's time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses advanced regenerative medicine to restore and repair damaged joint tissue, giving you your life back. And you can get a free consultation right now, 904-274-5522. Your hips, shoulders, elbows, they can all be treated with natural biologics from your own body. And if you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, or if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation, 904-274-5522. No drugs, no pain meds, no downtime. QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation, 904-274-5522.
Get big savings and big rewards now during Provember at Lowe's. Right now, save $80 on a DeWalt 20-volt 2-tool combo kit and earn 3 times the bonus points. Redeem those points for offers like NFL tickets to regular season games, a Super Bowl 58 experience for 2, and more rewards. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid through 11/22, subject to change.
Hey, poker fans. Catch all the action at Best Bet. With over $690,000 in poker promotions paid out this month, there is no better time than now to head to the poker rooms. November highlights include the $300 St. Augustine Championship with a $30,000 guarantee at Best Bet St. Augustine, high hand promotions at all locations, and holiday high hams at Jacksonville all month long. For all the details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball. The opening tip is almost here. UNFospreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of basketball. Season tickets, flex plans, and premium seat and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men's team always play an exciting brand of basketball. And welcome new women's coach Erica Lambert to UNF Arena. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. See one and you'll want to see more. UNFospreys.com.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
Football at 5 right around the corner. You know what else is around the corner? Thanksgiving. And Trayvon Walker will have a community event coming up on Saturday. Thanksgiving Turkey Drive.
Nice.
Trayvon's giving away 200 Thanksgiving feast boxes on a first-come, first-served basis. Winston Family YMCA from noon until 2 p.m. this Saturday to celebrate Thanksgiving. A limit of 1 box per car. And by the way, you have to bring your ID showing proof of residency as well. So Winston Family YMCA, noon until 2, the Thanksgiving Turkey Drive with Trayvon Walker. He's done a really nice job of starting a foundation and giving back to his hometown, but also here in Jacksonville and starting to kind of put his roots down here in Northeast Florida. I think Trayvon's playing good football, too. You feel like that's slowly turning. I mean, I know it still hasn't been the monster game, guys, but between what Josh is doing, I think people now are noticing that even when Josh doesn't have a sack or a couple of sacks, he's impacting the football game.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're there.
That.
And some of that's because he's got 9 sacks. I feel like Trayvon's getting there. I'm not saying he's there now, but I feel like there's more impact. Heck, he probably should have. Did you think his knee was down the other day and he could have got an easy one with the trip on Purdy?
Oh, yeah.
Because that would have been up to 4.5. Well, listen, those kind of things matter in this context.
I thought he was good on Sunday.
So he drew. I think he drew a holding call again. I think him and Josh have done a fantastic job of that, along with Calvin Ridley, of drawing penalties, which
really
don't
do
go in the
think-
stat column, by the way.
I think the book is very far from being written on Trayvon Walker. I've been saying it the whole time. I kind of was looking at him going, man, sometimes it takes guys a couple of years, especially up front, to really show in that statistical category. A guy like Quinnen Williams, who I love, obviously, took him 3 years before he started playing up to what you would expect from the 3rd pick. And that's really the issue with Trayvon, is that no matter what he does, he's always going to have that first pick hanging over his head.
Yeah. There are just some things you can't get away from.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is for this football team right now, I feel like he is, if this is like a cruise ship in a port, man. You know how slow those things turn?
Yeah, sure. I've been on one.
It's turning, but you can kind of start to feel it. Like, I feel like this is turning in a good way. It just looks that way to me. I don't know what all the numbers say and everything else, but it looks that way, that he is playing in a more consistent way. There's some like double team stats out there and other things that he gets double teamed a lot. If he's getting double teamed, the other team knows that he's dangerous.
Yeah.
We're still going to look at that sack column.
Bro said a cruise ship in a port.
That's why.
Case, don't knock the analogy.
When I feel like the slow turn, right, this kind of shift, that's what I picture in my mind.
Not only is it a great analogy, but Case, you really want to laugh during the commercial break. YouTube people missing their cruise ship.
I've seen some of that.
So good.
I've seen it live when I was on the boat.
So good.
That would suck.
There should be a whole section for
people. By the way, if you're on an
that.
island somewhere else, that really sucks. If you're
really?
coming home,
so you got to fly home, and they're taking your bags. What are you doing then? No clothing.
Buy some.
Football at 5. We spent all day overreacting. How about we overreact around the NFL? We'll get to what's happening on social media. And I start the show with, I think this is a huge week for Doug Pederson and Trevor Lawrence. So elaborate a little bit more on that. Football at 5 next on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 in a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. If you're looking for a real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss, call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
Find out what's causing your hair to fall out. Can your hair grow back? What procedures or products will work? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS's hair and scalp analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They're the only clinic to offer the trademark multi-unit hair grafting, PRP platelet-rich plasma, and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure. Real solutions, real results.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey is out in Buffalo with the Josh Allen-led Bills offense stagnant for well over a month. The Bills fired Dorsey. They have struggled in the first half the last 6 games and have been held to under 26 points in each of those matchups. In addition, Allen's thrown at least 1 interception in that span. He has 11 on the year. First Take co-host Shannon Sharp.
There is no team that's able to overcome bad quarterback play. And right now, Josh Allen is playing bad football. You can say, oh, he's immensely talented. His arm talent, his ability to run, his athleticism, he can make every throw. He's that immensely talented, and he's a turnover machine.
Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady is Buffalo's interim OC. Giancarlo Stanton's agent warning free agents about joining the Yankees. In a statement to The Athletic, Joel Wolf said players have to be made of Teflon mentally and physically because they can't let their guard down ever, even in the offseason. That was a response to comments from Yankees GM Brian Cashman that the injury-plagued Stanton is going to wind up getting hurt again more likely than not because it seems to be a part of his game.
Brought to you by the Capital One Venture X card. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Football 5 here on a Tuesday. Brent Martineau along with Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter. Hope you're doing well, everybody. It was not or has not been a good 48 hours in Jacksonville. Bad loss. The weather's been terrible. Offense is questioned.
Weather
and
is
Zay
terrible.
Jones arrested. That's kind of a mixed bag.
Where was the positive parts for the mix?
Did you have anything?
Yeah, actually, that's not a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of content, but it's all bad.
It's all bad.
No good. Nothing good.
Everybody knows by now that listening, Zay Jones was arrested last night. It's a misdemeanor domestic battery charge. And I don't know how that will sort out. We'll see. His next court hearing, I think, is December 6th. I think how these work sometimes is they might not even make the court hearing, right? I mean, could get some kind of
a stay or something,
settlement, or move it back, or what? Since it's in football season,
criminal
right?
case, it wouldn't be a settlement. It would just be a hearing.
Well, they would have to drop charges. It could see that, right?
Yeah, if the police drop the charges.
Yeah. So there could be, again, a lot of things that happen on that. From a football standpoint, what's your gut tell you guys? You think he'll play again this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Injury or suspension or both?
Well, more so this incident than injury.
Really?
Yeah, it just feels like he wouldn't.
There
I don't know.
have been 2 other domestic issues this season in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
One was Chandler Jones, who was already in the midst of other issues.
Yeah.
And is currently not on any roster.
Right.
So not suspended or in trouble. And the other was Clay Brooks. And we know how that worked out. Granted, a totally different story. Also his second offense. But still.
So neither have played since.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you about Chandler Jones. That thing is like...
There's other stuff happening.
Off the rails, right? That whole situation. Clay Brooks is interesting. And it's been so quiet. It's been on the exempt commissioner list.
Yeah.
I think they call it. And it's kind of an ugly look that there's been 3 of these instances and 2 of them in Jacksonville.
Right. after nothing for a while.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, the Jags haven't had a lot of this. I mean, heck, when I first came to town, I feel like it was I was getting called for a 5 o'clock news hit every day.
Yeah, even before you came to town, it was rough week to week.
It has not been that, but from a football standpoint, I have a hard time knowing this stuff. Now, Claybrooks instances, if I remember, they read kind of vague because there were two different things, but that was a second one that eventually put him on the exempt list.
Yes.
The first one did not.
There were 2 arrests, yes.
So does that mean that a guy like Zay won't be suspended on something of this nature a first time? It's really hard to say.
You also got to wonder what else has gone on in their careers that they get credit for in terms of being a good Samaritan, not just in public, but to the league as well.
Yeah, I know Zay had that one deal, right? And that was a lot. And there was an article about it and how he's turned around everything. I have a feeling, if this is where you're going with it, I don't feel like that will have an impact on this.
No, what I was basically saying was Claybrooks, I think, was a different situation. I think the league felt like this was spiraling. They had to step in and do something.
I see what you're saying.
I don't feel like they're going to feel that way about Zay.
Yeah, we'll see. And from a health standpoint, I do think he was going to play. I'm basically getting indications like he's going to play at some point. Now, I don't know if it was this week. Let me rephrase that. Stop. I'm not sure if he was playing this week. He was back on the practice field last week in a limited capacity, right. So he's starting to get back. But I felt like, as a pure guess, that he was about to, Houston game. Could be when he comes back, or maybe it's the early December games and the Jags have him for the stretch run.
Now, you'd almost rather have him back this week to just knock that rust off against the Titans before you go play Houston.
Well, now you almost wonder if, combined with this and injury, he definitely doesn't play this week. Right? As they evaluate, investigate, look into it, see how things play out.
It's so strange, just like the way that he could, though.
That he could play?
If he wasn't injured. I'm not just saying for Zay Jones. I'm saying anybody in any sport, jail on Monday, field on Sunday is a very odd, he stayed the night in jail.
I mean, it was the norm for a long time.
It's just so odd. It's a weird thing to kind of wrap your head around that's a thing.
I guess I would say this, man. There's been plenty of people that get arrested on the weekend and show up for work on Monday.
That's also weird, though.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, do you get it? I get, Case, that you're growing up in this time where leagues take action like that. But, the other side of that coin is basically this is his private life and work is a professional life. And so the team's like, well, we don't want whatever crime this is representing us. But at the same time, there are a lot of people out there who's like, well, it's none of the team's business.
I don't know, man.
Well, this is the team's business because he wears a jersey. He's paid by them. He's represented by them. He represents a shield. You represent a lot of different things. And so usually, I guess that's another part of this. Could there be internal action?
Outside of what the NFL will do?
Yeah, could the Jags say something about it? I don't anticipate that, but
I feel like that only happens when you're trying to stave off the league discipline.
Yeah, it feels more of a collegiate way to go about it when you're trying to stave off the NCAA.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. You don't think he plays again? You kind of do. You do, and I do. I think he does play. I don't think he was going to play this week anyway. And now I think this exacerbates the way I feel about it. So this goes back to the top of the show where you have the Zay thing. You have the last 48 hours because of the blowout. You have an offense that this wasn't just a Sunday thing. The offense has been a topic. And the offense not playing to its capability. The turnovers, even in wins, have been a topic. And so you put all that together, and what I think, here's what I was thinking all day today, is just how big of a moment I believe this is for Doug Pederson and Trevor Lawrence in this 2023 season. I believe seasons have moments. They have breaking points. They have kind of this ebbs and flow of, we're going on a roll, we feel good, we're hot, or we could get in a slide. And when you have a 17-week season, which isn't a lot of games compared to, say, Major League Baseball where you have 162, you have a lot of those in the 162-game season. But in a 17-week season that really started in late July and finishes in mid-January, there's a lot of that too. I mean, all we have to do is go back to last year. I think all we have to currently do is go back to this season and take a team like the Cincinnati Bengals or the Buffalo Bills.
They've had 3 different turns in their season already, and we're like 9 games in for those guys, 9 or 10 games in. Heck, the San Francisco 49ers looked like, whoa, and then looked like, uh-oh, and looked like, whoa, again on Sunday. Like, that's the nature of this thing. And to that, I think whatever the Jaguars did and said and collectively got themselves out of 1-2 going to London, and then in hindsight, their view was, hey, I think it was good to go to London, get away from some of the noise, but also, more importantly, galvanize. We had to spend time with each other. We had to talk about these things. We had to get on the same page and all know that we have to fix this ourselves, like a sense of urgency about it. Well, what's going to be, in hindsight, the reason they get out of it this time or don't get out of it, which would be unfortunate. So that's why I think this is a pivotal part. I'm not saying it's the only pivotal part of the season. There could be another one or 2 down the road. But I think there was one already after week 3, and I think this is the next one. What makes this different, Aaron, to me, is this is the first time for Doug and Trevor since, well, Doug first time, and Trevor since the Urban time, to deal with it in this negative of a feel, a little bit of a cloud, what the heck, in and outside the building when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. From
a win standpoint, or getting blown out, offense, and now even this off-the-field incident. I think this does factor into that big picture part of it.
Yeah, the off-the-field incident for me is what changes the flavor a bit.
Does it?
Especially under the Doug regime, just because you're not used to it. Even when the Claybrooks thing happened, you're looking at Chris Claybrooks going, well, he's not necessarily an integral part of the defense. And so whatever happens to him, and it didn't feel like it was a Jags team thing. You don't necessarily associate Claybrooks with the Jaguars uniform outside of Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree with you here. And here's the other thing I thought of, and I don't want to get, I guess this is what we do, right? We break this stuff down. And I did think about it from this context. I think Zay and Trevor are good buddies.
Yeah.
Like, really close. Like, he's close with a lot of these guys. We've talked about that in the past, but I think really trusts them and everything else. I was thinking that a lot from a teammate standpoint. What do you do over the last 24 hours with Zay Jones? Well, you can't really call him or anything. He's in jail.
Yeah.
What do you do today? You over his house? You're reaching out?
I'm sure he's there, yeah.
I mean,
or at least calling him.
Okay, and that's fine. But that is a distraction. That's taking up mental capacity, right? Your friend, your teammate, you got to think about the right way to handle it as a leader of the organization.
Could also serve as motivation, though.
It could. And you probably don't do too much on Tuesday, although they'd like to get rid of Sunday as quick as possible, so they were probably doing more on this Tuesday. And the game plan often goes in for the quarterback and offensive coordinator right about on this day. It's just fair to wonder all that stuff, and that's why I put Trevor in this category. I think Trevor can handle this stuff. I think Trevor is super mature for 24 years old. But Trevor is not just handling with the Zay Jones situation and the fact that the team lost. He's handling his worst performance since London of last year. That's just the reality. Like, he's got to dig himself out this week. And I don't know the effort and the mental capacity that goes into that, or you just move on and see on the practice field Wednesday.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is there's a lot going on. That's my point. Like, I think this is a huge – this is a moment. That's all I can say is a moment in the year for Doug and Trevor especially. It's really for the entire team. But Doug and Trevor are the ones that people feed off.
You made the comment about galvanizing when the team went to Europe and kind of circling the wagons at that point, coming together for each other. And I don't know. I think some leaders can take negative circumstances like the one we're seeing with Zay and make those galvanizing points.
Yeah,
rally
I
the
think
team
so.
around that kind of thing, even though it's not necessarily the best circumstance.
Yeah, it's not a very galvanizing moment, but I get what you're saying. I think some of those things. I think some of those things can happen.
It could bring up a sense of family amongst your teammates, all coming together for each other, and take that onto the field.
I always feel like this stuff happens, guys. Like we don't know what we're going to say about this exact situation next Monday, or in 2 weeks, or in 4 weeks, or quite frankly, in 2 months. But last year, what we learned by the end of the year was the London game was absolutely critical for Trevor to break out of it. And what we learned is that Detroit loss kind of did something to this football team. And I thought the words and the fact that he didn't get hurt in that game, all that stuff, were critical. I feel like I think we're going to, one way or another, by the middle of December, or maybe it's the middle of January, come back to this moment here over these last couple of days and say, well, that either changed everything for the good or for the worse. There's kind of only two ways to go.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty that's how I feel about this stuff this week, and we'll see. Now they get to practice field tomorrow. They'll meet with the media. How will people react in front of microphones, from Doug Pederson to Trevor Talks to everybody else in that locker room? It is a question that will be asked. That's an added distraction, and we'll see how they handle that as well. Some overreactions from around the league coming off Week 10. We kind of brought this up a little bit already, but the Colts, are they a playoff contender with 5 wins, guys?
I think they're in the mix, and I'm thinking it a lot more than Kasey is. You don't think the Colts are in the mix?
No.
They're sitting right outside there, and Gardner's only getting better week to week the more time he spends with that team. JT and Zach Moss learning how to coexist together.
Yeah, I think that part's interesting, right? I think people are sleeping on that because Taylor played well the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they've beaten nobody, right, Kasey? That's kind of your problem with them?
I'm pretty sure they don't have anyone on the schedule, though.
I mean, they beat the Patriots 10-6. 10-6. They beat the Panthers. Nice.
They did beat Houston. They whooped up on them. Nobody else has been able to do that.
They beat the Titans. Nice. Houston and Baltimore.
Yeah, the Baltimore win was good, too.
So they got the Bucs coming up, tough game. Then they got the Titans. They got the Bengals, a tough game. Steelers is a winnable game. Falcons, a winnable game. Raiders, a winnable game.
This team is no good.
And the Texans could be a winnable game for them.
This team is no good.
I mean, they're not.
A winnable game for them.
They're not. No one's expecting them to run off a top 3 seed, but you could certainly sneak into the playoffs, especially with the North and the East beating each other up.
It is wild that you're going to do this for the Colts, but not the Bengals.
I do think it's interesting.
Well, they played an easier division.
Yeah, only because the North is just so rock'em sock'em robots right now. Are you noticing that the league scheduling this year, and we've talked a little bit how different the league scheduling is this year, almost every team is playing division opponents at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like in the last 4 weeks of the year, you may get 3 division opponents. I think they do that on purpose just to keep those divisions unsettled.
Yeah, ironically, though, the Jags don't. I mean, they just have the Titans at the end.
Yeah.
But they're
in the
done
last
with
third of the season, they play like 5 division games, 4 division games, don't they?
No, the Jags don't.
Titans twice, Texans, and Colts.
No,
they play
after
the Colts
this
already,
month,
yeah.
I mean, the month of December, they're really the last 6 games, they only play 1.
Yeah.
So that's actually a little bit strange for them. Here's who the Colts have. The Bucs, winnable game. The Titans, winnable game. The Bengals, I would say they lose. The Steelers,
winnable game.
Falcons,
winnable game.
Raiders,
winnable game.
Texans.
And it could be winnable.
If I'm in Indy right now, I'm like,
you got an outside shot.
You know what I'm saying? Brent was right. We should have played Gardner the whole time if we wanted to go to the playoffs.
But here's the thing. Here's what you're missing. This is what the Colts have left on their schedule. They have the Bucs and then the Titans.
You didn't already hear this part?
No, I heard it twice. So let's do it a third time.
I think that the Colts have an outside. Will they make it? Likely no. Likely no. But I think they got just as good a shot at the Texans right now.
Hey, Kasey,
just as good.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Kasey, here's who the Bengals. Now the Bengals can beat anybody, right? So like every time they take the field, you think they're going to win.
Yeah,
you kind of have that feeling.
Sure.
Well, they got the Ravens next, and they're 5-4 right now.
Okay.
It's at the Ravens.
Cool.
Are you thinking they win that game?
I'm thinking they could.
They could. Then they got the Steelers and then the Jags. I think they beat the Steelers, by the way. And then they could. Then they got the Colts, the Vikings, the Steelers again. They do play the Chiefs and the Browns. There's plenty more friction, by the way, for a team like the Bengals. Now they're better.
The Bengals are better at football, so they are more likely
now they're
to
half a
beat
game
good
better.
teams.
Right now they're half a game better.
Half a game better. You don't like that number?
Okay.
What's the problem?
By the way, how does this have much to do with Gardner Minshew?
I don't understand. Oh, because Brent was right the whole time?
No, because the guy that started the season is when they beat the Ravens, when they beat the Texans.
Yeah, I know, but the other guy came in.
And the other guy's been better.
The other guy has not been better. Okay, I'm not doing this.
But you don't think Gardner's been okay for him?
I think he's been okay. I think he's at best okay. I think he's mediocre.
I think he was terrible here in Jacksonville.
I think he was awful. No
I'll tell
doubt.
you know what's wild about, like, this is why you have to be careful on the quarterback stats. Because Gardner Minshew has 52 touchdowns in his career.
That's a good career. Passing.
And 21 interceptions.
Look at those numbers. Better than Trev.
Oh, geez.
Well, that's what Twitter would say, right? That's what Twitter would say. Twitter would be like, Gardner Minshew, generational franchise quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful with that, right? Fumbles lost, by the way, in his career, I think are, if I just did this right, 16.
Not bad. Josh Allen has that this year.
He's 28 fumbles and lost 16 in his career, which means he has overall 37 turnovers. And he's got 52 touchdowns throwing. I don't even know what he has rushing. Like, Trev's got 53 and 49. This is not me making a case for it. I'm just saying.
Sounds like Brent's out on Trev.
That's why you better be careful about the numbers. All right. We already did. Texans are going to win the AFC South. We still don't believe that?
Nah, I don't believe it.
But do we think it hinges? If they beat the Jags on Thanksgiving weekend, do the Texans win the South?
Then it gets a lot more likely.
Did the Jags beat the
If the
Titans?
Texans?
Yes.
Well, then sure, but
But they both win. So they both win. They'd be tied, and Houston actually would own the division lead after Thanksgiving because they swept the Jags. Do the Jags still win with, what's that, 7 games to go? 6 games to go?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I still think the Jaguars win. I just don't have faith that C.J. Stroud can carry this amazing season the whole way.
The whole way. That's fair. I think that's a fair curiosity, right?
And like that running game has to catch up with them at some point.
If he does, he should be the MVP.
I mean, he's earning the conversation. I don't know if he should be it. I want to see who else is up there.
Well, if he continues on this trend and they don't fall off, is my point. Like, if he doesn't have just like this,
I just struggle to
stretch,
give CJ the MVP if the Texans don't make the playoffs.
Well, he would, though. In this scenario, he would make the playoffs.
But if they sneak into the playoffs, lose the first round, like, again, still, he's not an MVP to me.
No, man.
An amazing season.
He'd certainly be in the conversation.
Offensive player of the year, certainly rookie of the year. Whatever other award you want to give, MVP, I want to hold on to someone who brought their team very far.
Bengals are going to miss the playoffs. We already did this. We disagree.
I think they got a shot to miss the playoffs.
I do too. Again, it's their conference record that is bothersome.
And the traffic there, yeah.
Ravens can't be taken seriously as a Super Bowl contender. Why not?
So they're saying this because the Ravens now have 2 late losses.
Three
late losses. And so you can't take them seriously until they're closing out games like that. And I think the turnovers are a bit high too. But again, I've said this before. I really do think this Ravens team is continuing to get better as the season goes on with Todd Monken there. Like, they're still learning there.
Casey, this is weird about the Ravens. They're a physical team that likes to run the football. They play good defense, and they can't close out games. Like, that doesn't add up.
I mean, they closed out 7 of them.
Yeah, but this goes back to Jacksonville actually a year ago. Right. They blew the game in the fourth quarter.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they haven't addressed that problem, then that's where they are. But they've lost some games in really unexplainable ways.
Like that Pittsburgh game was
just atrocious.
The Browns game was nonsensical.
Like, you can't lose those games. So, yeah, I mean, if that's the way they're going to play, then you can't count on them to win anything that actually means anything.
Last weekend's Browns game specifically, because I think the score was like 33-17 or something crazy like that. And then they still go on to lose.
It was 31-17, yeah.
Was it 31-17?
Yeah, in the fourth.
Yeah.
But again, they were demolishing the Jags. Like, the scoreboard didn't say it, but they were. And they were up by like 9 or something.
They were demolishing the Browns. Yeah.
And this was last year I'm talking about. And then they come back and they give it up, and that's been a trend. I mean, there's really been a trend, which is so interesting for a Harbaugh team, kind of a tough-nosed, hardened team, a good defensive team, a team that likes to be physical and run the football. Just really weird to see. I don't have as big a problem with them closing out games. I think they'll figure that part out. I still have a problem with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson winning in the postseason until they do it. I just don't think it's been a thing.
Not a concern of mine.
And so that is a bigger problem for me as a Super Bowl contender than closing out games.
Man's playing MVP football.
He's been pretty good. He's turning over quite a bit, too.
A little bit.
A lot of these quarterbacks are. Mahomes, Trevor, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Not C.J. Stroud, of course.
Who's
not turning over the football this year?
Zach Wilson?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, yeah, has been unbelievable in that regard. Let's see, what else we got? Lions are Eagles' biggest threat in the NFC.
So basically, this is saying the Niners and Cowboys take a back seat to the Lions when it comes to the playoffs. I'm not buying.
I'm buying.
I'm not buying. I think the Lions are very talented, and I think they're capable. But to your point about Lamar, like until we see the Lions go to the playoffs and do some work, I'm going to be looking at the Niners and Cowboys going, at least you've been here before.
Well, Dallas has been there. What have they done?
Well, they've played.
They've
won one first-round game, I think, in the last 5 years.
Okay, so they've played. That's all they've done.
They've got to win.
Hey, now that's good. Put it on your resume.
I mean, the Lions,
still a bigger resume than Detroit. What do they got?
The Lions quarterback went to the Super Bowl and almost beat Brady.
That's fair.
He's played
with a totally different team and coach, but that's fair.
A worse team. Oh, that team is much worse. Okay, you don't have to do that. That's fine. I'm not going to do it with the coach because McVay might be a better coach, but the Rams were a worse team.
All right, so here's my problem. Here's what I question about teams like Jacksonville, by the way, and also the Lions. Physicality. And I know this is an interesting thing to question with Dan Campbell biting off kneecaps and stuff, but they're more of a high-flying offense is what they are, right? I mean, that's what they feel like.
They do a fair amount of biting.
They played the Chiefs, who I think actually go in this category on that opening game weekend. It was a 21-20 game. It was kind of a physical game, and I thought they did a pretty good job with it. But then if you look at what you would say other physical games are, the Ravens, they got pounded. Like they just got whooped.
The Lions did.
Yeah, 38-6. So I'm trying to find, okay, will we have a measuring stick? Well, the problem for the Lions is they might not have another one. They don't play the Niners. They don't play the Eagles, which also helps them probably get to where they want to go because they've got Chicago left, Packers left. Those are winnable games.
It doesn't help them prepare for the playoffs where they will play all these games.
That's what I'm debating, right? They get the Vikings 2 more times. They get the Cowboys. They do play the Broncos, who actually are playing a very physical brand of ball right now if they continue to stay on that pace. But my point here is, guys, I don't know if we're going to have an answer until we actually see it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you know what it's like until you have to face like the Niners and the Eagles. I think it's just a different brand of ball. And in the playoffs, it's magnified.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not buying Lions yet. I think they'd be cool to watch in the playoffs. It's great. Fine. NFC does what the NFC does. I got no dog in the fight. But if I'm looking at those 4 teams and I'm ranking who I think is more likely to advance, Lions is 4 out of 4.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it goes Philly, Niners, Cowboys, Lions.
I will say, you know what I think really matters for the Lions especially, but in this scenario, is seeding. Because in matchups, do the Lions have to play both the Eagles and the Niners to get to the Super Bowl?
That's really gross for low seeds in the NFC.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's a gauntlet.
Would they have to?
No.
Would they have? They wouldn't?
They'll be the 2.
The Lions would be the 2?
They're currently the 2.
No, but then
they will be.
Wouldn't San Francisco be the 3?
Yes.
So then you'd have to play them and then eventually the Eagles. So you have to beat both the Niners and the Eagles on the way to the Super Bowl.
Yes. 2 won't play 1 until the championship game. So you'd play 3 before you play 2. And then 1 would play 4 or whatever is lower.
Yeah, see, that's tough. I think that's really hard. If we're right on that.
Yeah, so if the seeding sticks and everything goes to chalk, you got the Eagles and the Saints and the Lions and the Niners, and then it would be Lions and Eagles.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's a tricky deal now, back to back, trying to beat those 2 teams. I think that's a very difficult thing.
Especially after you haven't had to all season.
But see, this is where I differ with you on the Cowboys. Like, if they get the Cowboys don't play they're not tough and physical.
I think that's a mistake.
Oh, they're not, though. I mean, they're more of a finesse, high-flying, playmaking
Their offense
team.
is, sure.
And by the way, when I say finesse, obviously they're all physical to a degree, but
no, I know what you're saying.
I think you can win a
Lamb
shootout.
is getting 120 yards a game, and
But I think
Pollard,
that would look like the Chargers game in essence, right? Where let's first one to 38.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the way the Dallas Cowboys play. I think that's a little bit of Dallas's problem with the Eagles and Niners too. Those 2 teams are separators if they're healthy. I think the biggest thing with the Niners is you probably can catch Purdy on a bad day.
You know who you're not catching on a bad day? Jared Goff.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent. How big's his contract going to be?
I might have put something in the stack of stuff about that.
Oh, good. Let's go to Xland when we come back. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy tonight with drizzle and rain at times. Temperatures in the low to mid-60s. The on and off rain continues into Wednesday with highs between 70 and 75. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now save 43% off everything in the store during Beard's 43rd anniversary sale.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union, and that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Tune into our high-energy, multi-platform show Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 and a variety of video streaming platforms as well. As the seasons change, so do the sports topics. It's football season now, and we're bringing you all things sports weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. And you can tailgate with us at the Duval House for every Sunday home game this football season. Fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It was about a year ago we were car shopping at Nimnicht Buick GMC once again. This was our 6th car purchase from the Nimnicht family of dealerships. Is it time to car shop for you? NimnichtBuickGMC.com or the showroom off Phillips Highway. That's the place to go. Special financing on new GMC Sierras, Acadias, and Terrains. Or you can save thousands on a Buick SUV. Want a used vehicle? Nimnicht Buick GMC is the #1 car Bravo dealer in the Southeast. Visit off Phillips Highway or just go to NimnichtBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in the state of Florida.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and get a free duct cleaning with the purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air, and they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com. Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. Football at 5 rolls on here on a Tuesday. Brent, Aaron, Kasey. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up next. Inside Seminoles football. Right after that. And the Noles just keep on winning.
I saw a college football playoff nightmare scenario the other day for the Seminoles.
Nightmare? For the Seminoles?
In which like 5 or 6 teams who are in the mix win out, and an undefeated FSU gets left out.
Wasn't it like, I don't think it was win out. I think it was, or at least the one I saw was Georgia wins out, Alabama wins out, Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship. Oregon wins out, beats Washington in the PAC championship.
The one I saw had Washington winning out as well.
Well, Washington wins out, but then they lose the PAC.
Mm-hmm.
So then you've got one loss champions, and then you've got Georgia or Washington that you would have to hold out.
Right. Basically, Florida's strength of schedule comes into play at that point.
Yeah.
I think if they win out, they're in.
That would seem likely.
Makes
right?
sense, yeah.
But we'll see. There's still some things that could happen. I mean, I get it. Let's get to some X's. What do you got?
Well, let's start off with a Kasey appreciation post.
Oh.
Marcus May, you bum.
Oh, the safety, Marcus May. They traded him, yeah.
That's who you were thinking of. Oh, Marcus
the grid. I
Joyner.
screwed up Casey's
Are you doing
football
the grid?
I screwed it up for him.
On the Jets. You even like the Jets?
Who does?
I don't even like myself, Kasey. Do you know me? Hey, Case, this one's for you. According to ESPN Analytics, the Jaguars' offensive line as a unit has a 46% pass block win rate.
That's pretty awful.
It's good for 31st in the league. 68% run block win rate. It's good for 30th. That makes them easily the worst offensive line in the NFL.
The best part was you guys tried to clown, not you guys, I'm going to put Brent here, and people on social media tried to clown me about it like I was wrong.
Even the Giants.
Because they played one good game against the Saints. Shout out.
Even Tommy DeVito's Giants ranked 28th in each of those categories. Something's got to change with the offensive line if the Jaguars are going to improve on offense. Ezra Cleveland should definitely be starting, according to this poster on X. Guys, you think that change is coming anytime soon?
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd like to see it tomorrow. Do you believe it's happening?
Listen, I did this all yesterday, right? I mean, I think they should make the right changes and put their best offensive line. The time is now, right? These are critical games. You can't mess around with it. They've had, I think 5 different offensive line lineups. They were forced into that initially because of Cam Robinson's suspension. But outside of that, then Ben Barch's poor play. And now Walker Little being reinserted. I mean, you got to win. You got to protect the quarterback. And I don't think I'm alone. Everybody out there can feel like, hey, press Taylor. Kasey has been on this all year. I still don't think their offensive line, player by player, is as bad as they've performed. They should be better. They have good enough players on that offensive line. But for everybody nailing and hammering on Press Taylor, I just don't know what you do if you can't trust your offensive line to do its job. And I am not an offensive line guru. None of us are. We always say that everybody tries to be or could be, but you're not. If you think you are, you're not. The bottom line is it's pretty obvious that they're not protecting long enough, and there's a lot of miscommunication, especially on the interior. They've played 9 football games, and they've had 5 different lineups, I think it is, on their offensive line. That's a problem. That is not how you have good offensive line play. So do they change it again and put Ezra Cleveland in? Or do you just change it now and say this is who we have to be, and we've got the rest of the year to figure it out and continue to get better as we go, so we're primed at the right time of the year as we're winning the division, going to the playoffs, to be playing our best football. But I think there's going to be a sense of stubbornness here from the folks inside the building to say, we're not just going to give Walker Little 1 game. That's unfair. We made the decision to do it.
How many games would you give him?
I would have given him none.
None. Okay. But once he's in the spot.
I would change my decision for this week. But I think you're really asking how much do you think they will give him?
Sure.
And I think...
I'm asking what you think is fair.
I think they'll give him probably 3 games.
Case, go ahead.
3?
Yeah, the next 2.
Oh, okay.
So he already had 1.
Yep, 1 and 2, and that's 3. Yeah, I got you.
Will this keep them out of the playoffs, Kasey?
Will this keep them out of the playoff? No. But I think what they should do is put Walker Little at tackle. Pick yours. Don't care. He's better than the other two. Ezra Cleveland at guard.
How could you say pick yours?
You can't take Cam Robinson out.
You're going to put Cam on the bench and leave Anton Harrison as a starting tackle.
I'm saying Walker Little is one of their tackles.
Okay.
That is for them to
You're
decide.
just saying he's capable. Okay.
No, he's better than the two they have.
Yeah.
So he's one of your tackles. And then whichever one you leave in is whichever one you leave in. And Ezra Cleveland's your guard. You know, you can make a call on center and then Sheriff's your right guard. But they should do that yesterday.
What does it say about Trevor Lawrence, who's taken all kinds of lumps this year, that the Jags by far have all these worst ranks on the offensive line, but are 23rd in sacks given up? I mean, this man is basically protecting the line.
Because, well, luckily for him, Sam Howell's in the league, leading the league at 50.
Well, actually, the
sacks.
Giants give up 5.4 sacks a game.
Wow.
On average.
Wow.
At home, that's 6.5, by the way, on average.
What do the Titans give up? Because I think their line's
leaky. The Titans for the season are 3.7. At home, at home they're 3.3, and on the road they're 3.8.
How many did the Jags give up a game?
Jaguars 2.7 a game, 3 at home per game, 2.4 on the road per game. Last year, by the way, that number was 1.7.
Yeah, he's on pace to get sacked. What would that pace be? Like 45 times?
2.7 times 17.
We're asking you to do the math, bro.
I'm doing
43 to I'm saying 45. I think I'm about right.
45.9. 46 if you want to get technical.
So that's by far the most in his career, I believe. I think 31 is the most in his career.
I guess what I'm saying is that number should be closer to 70 if he was Sam Howell.
Sam Howell, by the way, 47 times this year he's been sacked.
That's nuts.
So that's a quarterback issue, but, I mean, shout out to Trev. They're still getting it done.
Listen, even last year when this offensive line played well, he helped them. The year prior, he helped them. Like, he is going to do that. And, listen, that goes back to Press Taylor. Press Taylor's helping them. This could be a lot worse. Press Taylor gets the ball out of his hands real quick. Not his hands, but Trevor's hands real quick. But people are figuring it out. They're going to crowd the line. Yep. They're going to make you beat you over the top because the offensive line can't hold. On the 2.5 second to 4 second, again, Mina Kimes coming up with all this stuff on the Jags lately, so I'm stealing it. But it was worse than the Giants' protection rate.
Yeah,
I think he's pressured on 43% of those snaps when he holds it for more than 2.5 seconds. And the other day, he had it for 2.77. Someone on social media told us. So.
By the way, fun stat, Tommy DeVito has been sacked more times than Patrick Mahomes this year. And you can kind of do the math on who's played a little more football.
Or Tommy DeVito.
So, yeah, I don't know how do you do it, but they've got to play better. I think Phil Rauscher's a good coach. I do think they have good players on their line. Also
they've got
think
to show it, yeah.
They need to play a lot better. And I don't think it helps a young player, and really any of them, to continue to mix guys in. The fact of the matter is they now had 3 guards, and I think eventually they'll have 4 guards that will play on the left side. No, wait, they had Bart Shatley, Walker Little, and Ezra Cleveland. They'll eventually have 4 guards, I think, play next to Luke Fortner.
Didn't Hans get in there at one point?
He might have had through an injury, yeah. I don't know if he went to the right side when Sheriff went out, and then some tackle spot. I can't remember. But you get my point. Like, that's how are you supposed to get familiar with a guy as a second-year player? Cam Robinson should be able to deal with it easier, but still doesn't make his life any easier either.
Yeah.
They got to figure it out.
Let's stick with quarterbacks for this last one before we go to break, because I'm pretty sure both of you guys said Russ was washed.
I did.
Here's some Russ stats. It's Russ season. Let's ride, fellas. Passing TDs, 3rd in the league. Passing TDs per attempt, 1st in the league. Pass TDs versus interceptions, 2nd in the league. Pass rating, 4th in the league. 4th quarter comebacks, tied for 1st. Game-winning drives, tied for 2nd. Russ is getting it done, and it seems like nobody cares. Not even Sean Payton, not the folks in Denver. Like, nobody wants this man. Can't get any credit.
I'll tell you what, if they start rolling off games and somehow sneak into the playoffs, why wouldn't he be in the MVP conversation?
Certainly comeback player of the year.
If everyone loves stats, why isn't he in the conversation?
18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's a good year if it stopped today.
Who leads the league in touchdowns?
Like throwing them?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Tua.
Oh, is it? But if everyone loves stats, why doesn't everyone love Russell Wilson? I mean, I know he's throwing for like 180 yards a game, but who cares if he's getting touchdown to interception ratio like that? I'll tell you what.
Tua and Josh Allen have 19.
I thought Russell Wilson. Now, I don't watch Denver a lot, but I thought Russell Wilson looked like the old Russell Wilson last night. Some of the flippy throws, escaping the pocket, some of the maneuvering in the pocket. Like he's always been that. He's been a backyard football guy when he needs to be. I mean, how about the throw to Cortland Sutton in the end zone?
It was an amazing throw, an amazing catch too.
A great catch.
But you want to talk about, first of all, getting the ball off was great. Don't shake your head, Case, because it was an amazing throw. He put it in the only spot in the entire stadium where Sutton had a shot at it, and he was still able to grab it.
I think Sean Payton's overrated. I really do. But you got to give him credit for managing their offense the way they're doing it. I mean, I don't know what else you can do. When you look at those kind of statistics, it's hard to ignore. You got to give some credit to what they're doing, and they're starting to win games. It's a little different when you're 1-5, right? And they weren't good. But now that they've won 3 in a row, and they've beaten the Chiefs and the Bills.
Yeah. Next up, Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut. Liz, here's what I love about this. Sean Payton was really hoping to jettison that Russell Wilson contract. He wanted out. He wanted to kick this man off the team, and now they're going to have to sit on him. Love it.
And it might not be the worst thing in the world.
Well, for the franchise, but Payton's going to hate it.
What else you got? You got another one?
Oh, okay.
We'll push. Oh, no, we can't. Let's go to break.
Okay.
I thought it was 43. My bad.
Yards per attempt, Russell Wilson, 5.
Yeah.
5.
I know you. I knew you'd find something.
He was looking hard, too. He was looking. He's looked in every rock. He's looking in every closet. He found pants that he had in 3rd grade. He's like, oh, I should wear these one day.
Because here's the thing. Everybody's I've got the list of, like, dudes that were sacked up. So then I sorted by passing touchdowns to get to Tua. And then yards. So you're seeing yards of dudes. Sam Howell, 2,700. Mahomes,
he throws
24.
70 times a game.
Kirk Cousins, 23, who's been out. 26 for Tua, 26 for Allen, 23 for Purdy, 26 for Stroud, 25 for Goff, 18 for Russell Wilson.
Whose fault is that?
5 yards an attempt. No wonder he's completing 80%. They're 2 yards away from him.
Oh, your boy Trev throws 5 yards an attempt. Does he have 80% completion rating?
Throws more than 5 yards an attempt.
18 and 4? Like, lots of guys are having to throw short passes this year.
How come everybody else has 1,000 more passing yards in him?
Yeah, the passing yards are interesting. I mean, they're not a dynamic offense. But when you're not a dynamic offense, it's a managing offense. He's definitely a game manager.
An all-pro level game manager.
You know what he's putting together? He's putting together and I don't know the Nick Foles yardage, but remember the 27-2 with Chip Kelly? And you know who else he's reminding you of? David Garrard in 2007 for the Jags.
Who I think went 18-2 touchdowns, interceptions.
It was 18-3, I believe it was. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. That's kind of reminiscent. Now, listen, Russ is at 18-4.
Yeah.
And we're halfway through the year. He might throw 35 touchdowns.
He could.
Gets worse. Net yards game per attempt, 4.6, bro. Throw it.
Hey, if you get 4.6 yards every time, it's a first down.
Not per attempt.
No.
Got to complete 100%.
But after 3 of them.
That Philly year for Foles, yards per attempt was 9.1.
Oh, so he was throwing it downfield.
5. 5 yards per attempt. I could do that.
Well, listen, man, he's old. I mean, the arm.
Well, I get it, but let's not call him the king of football because he could check down Charlie his ass off.
He's not, but he does deserve some credit right now because they're on a 3-game winning streak.
Listen,
I would take 70.
I would take 18-4 on my team with no yards every day of the week.
I wish Trevor had 18 touchdowns right now so people would say nicer things about him.
I would literally take half of Russell Wilson's stats on the Jets right now.
We'll be back and put a quick bow on the show on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
We hit the road on Friday with Brent and Friends on ESPN 690 at Perfect Rack Billiards in Murray Hill. Come on out and play a little pool, talk some football, eat wings. Of course, there's adult beverages, too. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day, and it's the place to be this Friday. Heading to a high school football game? Stop on by before you go. Get ready for the weekend with us on ESPN 690 at 3 p.m. Perfect Rack Billiards now open for lunch at 11:30 on Fridays. Pool, darts, shuffleboard, and a fun, clean atmosphere. Perfect Rack Billiards. We'll see you there. Brent and Friends, ESPN 690 at 3 p.m.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. We count on our knees for everything, from walking to working out and playing sports. Knee pain can be the result of aging, arthritis, athletic activities, and injuries. Obesity is also a factor for knee pain due to the increased stress placed on the joint and can aggravate the symptoms of osteoarthritis. However, exercise and weight loss can delay symptoms related to osteoarthritis. Being physically active boosts the health of cartilage tissue. People with joint pain can benefit from activities such as water aerobics, which puts less stress on the knee. The orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or to learn more, go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It was about a year ago we were car shopping at Nimnick Buick GMC once again. This was our 6th car purchase from the Nimnick family of dealerships. Is it time to car shop for you? NimnickBuickGMC.com or the showroom off Phillips Highway. That's the place to go. Special financing on new GMC Sierras, Acadias, and Terrains. Or you can save thousands on a Buick SUV. Want a used vehicle? Nimnick Buick GMC is the #1 car Bravo dealer in the Southeast. Visit off Phillips Highway or just go to NimnickBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Rich Jones here. If you're an investor who's interested in doing well while doing good, getting solid returns on your investments while making a positive impact, consider investment funds with DLP Capital. Here's Don Winter, CEO of DLP Real Estate Capital, to tell you more.
With the current housing shortage in the U.S., investing in real estate, especially workforce housing, is one of the safest and most reliable places to invest. We invest in affordable housing for hardworking people and generate amazing returns for each of our investors.
To get your investor's guide and find out more, dial ** Invest from your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer, Florida license number CFC 1428211.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods has the largest American Gym Society credentialed staff east of the Mississippi River.
Gah, I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Hey, if you're home for the holidays, we've got some fantastic options for you. By the way, Bono's Pit Barbecue. Go to bonosbarbecue.com. Smoked turkey, smoked country hams. Order them today. Feeds 10 to 22 people. bonospitbarbecue.com. And by the way, in the Bono's family, Willie Jewell's as well. You can do the same. Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours, served in minutes. WillieJewels.com for your holiday orders. Put them in now. Thanksgiving, just a bit more than a week away. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton on deck. Inside Seminoles football right after that. Man, we really ran up against it today.
Fun show, especially the part where Kasey got Russell Wilson wrong.
You guys are still debating that in the break.
A little bit.
What is there to debate?
Nothing.
He
He's
throws
having
it
a great
behind
year.
the line of scrimmage more times than not.
Tell that to Javonte Williams on my fantasy team who hasn't done anything until last weekend.
We think
last
that
night, actually.
we think that you won Evoli's House of Cards.
I'm pretty
fantasy
sure.
card breaks.
I'm pretty sure I won.
So it means,
this week.
are you buying lunch for us this week?
Man, if I won this week, you ain't getting nothing. Let me tell you something. I found out I was
Kasey,
in
how
the
much?
money. Suddenly, Casey's asking for money. My wife is like, "You're taking me out." Everybody with the hands out. I thought you, Martineau. I thought you, with all your checks, would love me for me, not because I'm carrying around the Dolos.
$650. You
That's
guys
a
might want to pay attention later
big
this
win.
week when we
And
give
by
away
the
some
way,
free entries.
That's coming off of my $124 win last week, folks. You could be winning some real cash.
Shout out to
doubt.
this guy who just made it have to go on his taxes for saying all that on the radio.
He was doing
joke's
it anyway.
on you, Case. I haven't done taxes in 17 years.
Not something I'd say, but all right.
Can't wait to see you in that jumper.
Yeah,
soon.
that orange jumpsuit.
It'll look good on you. I can already feel
It pops my eyes.
Have a good night, everybody. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton up next. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do ball.
And have a good night, everybody.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Rizumkizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Play a little pool, watch some football, eat wings, and, of course, plenty of adult beverages. Perfect Rack Billiards is the place to be on game day and every day. Now open for lunch at 11:30 on Friday and Saturdays. Daily specials like 75-cent Wing Wednesday, $3 Draft Thursday, and $3 Seltzer Saturday. Pool, darts, shuffleboard in a fun, clean atmosphere at Perfect Rack Billiards. It's your Jags game day headquarters. 10 wings and a pitcher for $20 and a free shot with every Jags touchdown. It's up to the Jags to score. It's up to you to have fun at Perfect Rack Billiards in Jacksonville.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Oh, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
What's up? It's Kasey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. In less than 2 years, Ken Dorsey is out as Bills offensive coordinator, fired today by the team. Buffalo's offense has experienced a huge drop-off since starting the season 3-1. In each of the last 6 games, Josh Allen and company have scored less than 26 points. Allen has at least 1 interception in that span. The Bills have dropped 4 of 6, and they are currently 10th in the AFC. ESPN NFL insider Dan Graziano.
It feels like a scapegoat move to me. It feels like a panic move to me. From talking to people around that situation just today, it sounds like what the Bills felt like their offense should be better this year than it was last year. And I think, overall, you have a team that's 5-5 that expected to compete for the Super Bowl. Feels like it's going in the wrong direction.
Dan Graziano on Carlin versus Joe. Quarterbacks coach Joe Brady is Buffalo's interim OC. Shohei Ohtani among 7 players who turned down $20 million qualifying offers from their former teams and remain on the free agent market to pursue more lucrative contracts. Iowa's Caitlin Clark, UConn's Paige Beckers, and LSU's Angel Reese headline the preseason list of candidates for the John R. Wooden Award.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. If you're looking for a real solution to your thinning hair or hair loss, call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS.
Find out what's causing your hair to fall out. Can your hair grow back? What procedures or products will work? Get to the root of your problem with IHRS's hair and scalp analysis. This analysis magnifies your hair and scalp 400 times to see what procedures can restore your hair. Stop wasting money on solutions that don't work. IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years. They're the only clinic to offer the trademark multi-unit hair grafting, PRP platelet-rich plasma, and the NeoGraft FUE hair transplant procedure. Real solutions, real results.
Schedule your free hair and scalp analysis today. Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com. Hairforme.com.
I'm Ebony Loren, and Febrez's new scent, Soothe and Restore, is so good I wrote a song about it.
I know just what I do. Febreze has my favorite scent. Makes the perfect environment. Sweet like sugar, smooth shea butter. What could be better than being with each other now? Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about 2 things. Getting projects done right with Behr Premium Plus interior paint
and football.
That's right, Kirk Herbstreit. And with Behr's wall-to-wall coverage and long-lasting durable finish, you'll spend less time worrying about your walls,
which means more time for football.
For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Behr and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
From Disney.
So I look up at the stars to guide me.
Be careful.
I wish. And from
What you wish for.
last night, I made a wish on a star, and the star answered. What did you wish for?
From the studio that brought you Frozen.
A squirrel just said good morning to me. I have a few thousand questions, starting with, how is this possible?
Disney's Wish. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Only in theaters November 22nd. Tickets available now.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness, From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. Not on my watch, they say, as they leave their families behind to keep the rest of ours safe. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve, the therapists they need to walk again, the treatment they need to talk again, the lifetime of day-to-day help they need to live full and independent lives. When there's no more government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option, or everyone says there's no hope for recovery, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in your closet. The back of your closet. What am I doing here? Would you keep caviar in the back of your fridge with the ketchup and old milk? Yeah, I don't think so. So, what happened to us? I mean, have you seen my label? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Sure, I never really fit you quite right, and one of my pockets is so small you can't even squeeze your hand into it. But it's all about the look. And I look good. I need to get back out on the scene so I can be seen. You know, going to fancy parties, getting expensive iced coffees, Sunday fun days, okay? So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
How y'all doing? Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. We're here! We're here!
Never gets old.
We have made it to the show.
Never gets old.
No need to fear if you were on the stream.
Every time.
If you're on the radio, you're definitely no longer here. If you're on the stream, though, appreciate you.
You always say it.
What?
And then he always says it.
Okay.
It never gets old.
All right.
Who knew that Aaron Schachter would be as ingrained in overtime as all I want to do is eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla? Is it too much to ask? Who would have thought that? I wouldn't have thought that.
I mean,
not this time last year, especially.
In reality, if we're going to tear down whatever, the fourth wall, there is no overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton without Aaron Schachter. And it's not even close. It's unquestioned.
Hold on now. Let's not want to go even higher than that.
I don't really. He's already,
okay.
he's already really
you
feeling
wanted to do
himself.
that. I was like, all right, let's go all the way back. I like it.
So
thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome.
You'd have to screen that one, but that's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Very
you know.
good.
I have a microphone.
All right,
You
man.
actually clear my headphones. Okay, no follow-up. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Anyway, overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter has left the building. Brian Middleton on the ones and twos. I'm Kasey Kuhrts. We take you up until 7 o'clock inside Seminole football. After that, with the head coach Mike Norvell, they beat the Miami Hurricanes. They will now try to beat North Alabama, which is on the CW. You can listen right here on ESPN 690 this weekend.
CW.
I know that's what I said when I saw it pop up as well. And then they will play the Florida Gators for the chance to be perfect on the season. So that's the lineup for the rest of the evening, but it is a Tuesday. It is overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. They're still playing football, which means power rankings.
Oh, wrong one.
That's the draft chime,
Wrong
Brian.
one. Wrong one. That was last year. 2 years ago this time. All right.
That's fair.
Set me up one more time.
Power rankings.
No. All right, man. Fine. Okay.
I did the whole spiel. It was
All
good.
right, all right. The music's playing, man.
Why don't you start us off, Brian?
I started off last week when you were taking a vacation. You start us off.
You did power rankings without me?
Yeah, because it was Wednesday, and we couldn't go a whole week without power rankings. You were sipping Mai Tai somewhere on a beach.
I was in
Cancun.
North Carolina. I was on the opposite of a beach. That's all I'm saying.
Sipping pina coladas in the woods of Ashbury.
That was actually somewhat close, Asheville. But I will start. No big deal. Thank you. I appreciate that. I will start with the team, and I have to apologize to an entire city. I have to apologize to an entire fan base. I got to where I'm at today because, to be honest, Aaron Schachter, but on this show and the power rankings that are on one team that I believed in from the very beginning. And for some reason, I strayed away this year. Although they had given me no reason to do so, I strayed away. And I will never, ever make the mistake again of doing anything other than having the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1 in the power rankings. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't even play football this weekend. I've got no new stats. I have no new information for you. I will just tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles are clearly the best team in the National Football League again. I was early on it last year. I'm late this year, and I'm sorry, Philadelphia. But your biggest supporter this direction of the United States is back. And I was gone for a while, and I don't know why. I doubted you, and it made no sense. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, offensive line of just grown men. The secondary still could use some help, Philadelphia. But the front, the linebackers, I'm back in. The coach, I'm here. And I will never make that mistake again. So coming off a bye week, when all the other teams played football, I will sit here and tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles not playing football are still, or now, and probably will be the rest of the way, the best team in the NFL. I'm sorry I doubted you, Philadelphia. But Daddy's home.
Well, that was something. That was something. No pause or anything. Just, okay. Yeah, Kasey, I agree in this sense. I mean, I got Philly at number 1 by default. They didn't play a game.
You got Philly at 1 too?
And teams in front of them lost.
Look at us.
So, I'm sure. And for many of the reasons, I mean, they the best record in the league. I mainly have them number 1, Kasey. I won't lament upon them as much as you did. I think you did a great job of carrying their suitcase and their water. But
that's what I do.
I basically have them number 1 because they taught me in fantasy I need Jalen Hurts. And maybe even DeAndre Swift, but I definitely need Jalen Hurts. Because
don't you have like 4 other quarterbacks?
That loss, if Jalen Hurts was there, it'd be different. It'd have been different if I had the Philly boys in there, and that's just a part of the game of fantasy. So, because of that, and yeah, they can win all that good stuff, and they can stop the run, and they can throw the ball, and dual threat at quarterback, one of the best QBs, all that good stuff. They're number 1, Kasey Kuhrts. So yeah, I got Philly at number 1. Are you happy, Eagles fans? Because it won't stay that way. Trust me.
2.
You don't want to say Daddy's home?
2. Why you saying soft like that, man? You saying it real soft, man.
I'm just saying how I
say it
feel
one more
like.
time, man. So we can get a good drop on it.
Nah, I'm gonna pass. I did just make the pen in the trash can.
Nah, I heard the floor hit.
No, absolutely not. Backboard.
It went. I heard
right.
the third floor hit. Come on, man.
2.
He didn't even yell Kobe.
I know.
Or
This is,
Steph.
Nah, it's Kobe for me.
Is it Kobe for you? Okay.
Yes. I've said this many times on the show. I'm going to say it again. We're going to do this whole football thing for it to be the Eagles and the Chiefs again. So the second team in my power rankings is once again coming off a bye. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, who were on bye, are the best team in the AFC, and are the second best team in the league. And right now, the AFC is a disaster. Who's good in the AFC? The Chiefs are good. Who else is good? I got no idea, because I see the Ravens beat the daylights out of people in the first half, and in the second half just don't come out of the locker room. I thought the Ravens were good. I don't know. I think Jacksonville's good, but that was ugly. And I ain't about to sit here and tell you how great they are after that. Cleveland? Is Cleveland good? I don't know. Their defense is good. Can they play enough offense? Maybe. It depends on what day it is. So the AFC is a mess. The only thing that's not a mess are the Kansas City Chiefs. They somehow, some way lost to the Broncos, which was odd. But then they went to Germany and took care of their business against the Dolphins, who I still think are good. Not great, but good. So I will just conclude with, you know what they got at quarterback. Their defense is great. I've told you multiple times this year, their defense is great. Mahomes, Reed, Kelsey, Pacheco. They should have added a receiver. They didn't. We'll see if it comes back to hurt them. But the only thing in the AFC that is certain is the Chiefs. And we're going to do this whole football thing again for it to be the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl, Brian.
Yeah, so this is where we split. 1 pick in or 2 picks in. This is where we split on our power rankings. I would like to present to the crowd a team that I was a visionary on and that I will continue to be a visionary on. A team that's scrappy, a team that can beat you in a close game, a team that can beat you in a defensive struggle that they've shown, and when their defense doesn't show up, a team that can beat you in a shootout. I don't care how many offensive weapons that you have on your squad. And they've had one hiccup and one really close loss in overtime to a team that is 6-3. I would like to present to you as the second best team in the league, right behind Philadelphia going into week 11, the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions. Yes, sir. Because, the number one, I know that they sent Brandon Staley, a Christmas card, or they will send him a Christmas card for helping support the winning train to Detroit get to 7-2, as Brandon Staley and his teams tend to do. And also, Kasey, we just know that they are a team that can score. They're top 10 in scoring. They're top 10 in first downs allowed. They're top 10 in yards allowed. Now, again, they can got on the point total. There's been a couple of games, even this one against the Chargers, where they let, it's 38 points. That's a lot, okay? And you mess around with the wrong team in the playoffs, and they can take that to 38 and take that to 48, and your offense has to be on. But, and this is why I give Kasey credit, he was on the Jared Goff train. He was on the Jared Goff, hey, this is a good quarterback. They got a quarterback. Who's been to a Super Bowl, by the way.
Yes, he has.
Let's not forget
People
that
seem
part
to forget
of the resume.
that. I had to yell about that earlier today. Nobody believed me.
They had to go to Wikipedia.
I said he was there. He just lost to Brady.
Okay. They
didn't score, but
they got a number one receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, giving it to people on the field. They got a run game, and, listen, I'm going to be mature about this. Jahmyr Gibbs, of course, and David Montgomery, he had a good game again. So maybe it's me. Maybe when I have him on my fantasy league and he's on Chicago, that's when he can't perform. So maybe it's me.
Maybe it's you.
But they got all three of those elements. And again, defensively, they've shown up at times. They can get got at times, but they got a pass rusher. Aiden Hutchinson, you start talking about some of the other pieces there. Do they have enough once you start getting into the playoffs? I think so at this point in time, but they're going to get better as well, Kasey. Detroit is legit. Detroit is for real. Detroit can compete with Philadelphia and San Francisco, because I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment with the San Francisco game. And they can win those games in the playoffs. I am convinced of that. I am convinced of that wholeheartedly. So that's why I have the Detroit Lions at number 2.
3. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again and multiple times until it's proven correct. The Super Bowl champion will come out of the NFC. It will be either the Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers, or the third best team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm here, Brian. You were ahead of the wave. You saw the momentum. You're a visionary. And you were right on the money. I knew about Jared Goff. I did not believe in the Lions. I wasn't sure that Dan Campbell was the guy. He's the guy. I wasn't sure their defense was going to be able to perform the way they needed to. I believe they have. They will continue to do so. And we just talked about it on Brent and Friends literally a half hour ago, if you're still listening. But if you're not, the argument was the Detroit Lions the rest of the way play nobody. Nothing close to the competition they will play when they do have to play a Philadelphia, when they do have to play a San Francisco in the playoffs. The rest of the way, the Bears, Packers, Saints, Bears, Broncos, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings. That sounds like a lot of opportunities to win. But what it also sounds like is the opportunity to go into the playoffs with all of the momentum in the National Football League. And I believe in Jared Goff. Sam Laporta, the second-round tight end, damn, he looks good. When he got picked as the third pick of the second round, people were like, what is happening here? Oh, it's casual. He's like, great. Really good. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, you said it. It's working. Amon-Ra St. Brown, okay. Their defense is more than Aiden Hutchinson. He is their leading pass rusher, if you will. He's the one that sets the tone there. But they have push on the inside. The rookie linebacker is playing well. They have Anzalone who's flying around. Good. Brian, good. Good defense. And it sounds like, if you believe Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on Instagram, he may be coming back. So, I'm in. I'm in on the Lions. I agree with you. I think they're good enough to win playoff games in the NFC. I think the NFC, those three teams at the top, are top-tier teams. Any of them could beat any of them, and any of them could end up in the Super Bowl. And I believe the Detroit Lions, with Jared Goff, can end up in the Super Bowl. That's a wild thing, but I believe they can do it.
Okay, still respected Kasey Kuhrts. I don't like this much respect happening in the power rankings, but I get why you would put Kansas City ahead, even though I didn't. So I respect you having them at number 3, Kasey Kuhrts.
Thank you.
At number 3, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Kasey, you'll know this. You went to school for broadcasting, unfortunately, just like myself. No one told me don't do that. You can just go in with a high school diploma or GED, get a studio tech position, learn everything you need to know. You don't have to spend that money.
It's true.
At college. Kids, if you're listening, I
that.
don't know if you are, but they teach you in one of the first basic courses in broadcasting, when they talk about production, how to wrap a cord, a mic cord. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to do it a certain way, because if you wrap it incorrectly and you do that too many times, the way that it can mess with the wires on the inside, and it also does something like a muscle memory type deal. So like then when you start trying to wrap the cord, if you've been doing it incorrectly for a while, it'll remember that way, and when you try to do it the right way, it's the toughest thing ever, right?
Yep.
So I bring that example up because muscle memory is a thing. And Kansas City, this is what they do. This is what they've been doing for half a decade. Muscle memory, whether you think we're great or not, whether one side of the ball, normally the offense is the one carrying the team, and you got, a player or two on defense, you're just like, all right, they got enough. But regardless of what side of the ball is the side of the ball that's carrying the team, you look up, you're halfway through the season, you're on the back half of the season, and they're either number one in the conference or fighting for that number one position. And that's what they're doing right now. 7-2 on a break. Patrick Mahomes looked relaxed on the Manning cast. He is like, this is what I'm used to. And then I started thinking about it. This is what he's used to.
Also true.
He's like, what do you want me to say? I'm not worried about not near one team. If I'm a Kansas City Chief, if I'm a fan, I'm going to be real with you. Even if I know that we have we might have some minor holes or some stuff that in the past has been more strengths than what it is this season, I'm not worried about a thing. Because of resume, because of pedigree, and when you do have Patrick Mahomes, regardless of how it's looked at times in the season, I look at the stats, they look pretty good. And I look at the record, and they look pretty good. And we know when crunch time happens, they have proven it. And this is the only reason why I'm giving them these kind of props. When crunch time happens, they perform. Last year, Patrick Mahomes had half an ankle after Jacksonville. Half an ankle. The good ankle was like, nah, I don't want to take on all this by myself. And the other ankle was like, yo, I'm out to dinner. I can't do anything. Shoot me up with something, but I'm still going to hurt. And all they did was win the Super Bowl. So, at 7-2, coming off of a bye, they moved up on my rankings from last week, I think from 4th to 3rd. And, they're really good. They're going to be a contender like they normally are. Kasey Kuhrts, Kansas City at number 3.
4. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Y'all watched it. San Francisco's good. Y'all wrote him off.
Wow.
Y'all did whatever that was. Brock Purdy, still good. Deebo Samuel, healthy. Trent Williams, healthy enough. Defense, fast. Pass rushers, good. Somebody let him get Chase Young for a 3rd-round pick. Not sure what happened there. Still good, by the way. That's it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Y'all saw it. 34-3. San Francisco still very much in the Super Bowl contention, even though y'all tried to write him off. That's all I got, Brian. I'm going to be calm about it.
If you had done power rankings last week to see how high they would have moved up, because I know you wouldn't have had them that high if you would have had them in your top 10 at all, which you probably would have.
After the Bengals loss?
But 4th. Yeah. After the Bengals loss.
Yeah, I would say 6, 7.
It's a big jump. I get it. It's a great win against a good team.
Well, a good team on the road in a different time zone at 10 a.m. in the morning.
All right, man. It's not like they, when their first time on the road. But, hey, it's your top 10. I'm not mad at it. Okay, they'll move back up that high if they continue to be the San Francisco I know on my rankings, but not this week. At number 4, Kasey Kuhrts back to visionary status because it's a week-to-week league, and you got to look at the entirety of the season, and you have to look at things in context. At number 4, we're going up north. We're going way up north to the purple and gold. The Minnesota Vikings, 4th best team in the league after 10 weeks in the season. Kasey Kuhrts, the hottest team in the league. Pause. 5-game winning streak. They've done it with Kirk Cousins, who, a polarizing figure. I haven't met a more polarizing QB since Tim Tebow. Either you actually legit like Kirk Cousins, think he's a good guy, or you think he's just the worst thing ever, i.e. my uncle, a Minnesota Vikings fan. And I'm like, listen, he's a good guy. Explain some other things that he does off the field. And he was like, that don't got nothing to do with football. He didn't say he was glad he was gone because of an injury, but he said, I'm glad we got somebody else in there. It was 3-game win streak when he was there.
The astronaut, Josh Dobbs.
His number was looking good. Oh, astronaut. That's right. I call it Rocket Man, but I guess John would take that. Yeah, he'd probably be like, nah, let me get my money off of that. So, astronaut. Yeah, anyway, 5-game win streak, Kasey Kuhrts. A team that's beat your San Francisco 49ers. I get it. A different San Francisco team, but they did it. They beat the Saints in this win streak for what that's worth. They're leading the division down there in the NFC South. I guess, that's worth something. And I start looking at the play of not missing a beat at the most important position. And you're just like, they may add something. And what Josh Dobbs brings to that quarterback position is different than what Kirk Cousins does. It just absolutely is. Number one, the mobility factor of things. A couple of those plays, you're just like, holy smokes. Now, does that last for the rest of the season? I don't know. But as he gets more integrated into yet another playbook, because Tennessee last year, and then Arizona, and now Minnesota. But as he gets integrated into that playbook even more, the mobility will be an asset still, but I think that there will be more ways that he can show off some other talents. On top of the fact that, Justin Jefferson eventually, that's going to be a thing if he can make his way back. But defensively, they have the best pass rusher, tied with Myles Garrett for most sacks in the league, Danielle Hunter, and Kasey Kuhrts. I think that the fact that they can overcome this kind of adversity. Last season with Minnesota, 13-4, I think they won like 10 or 11 of those games by one score. It was something insane. And we think about some of those close games, and I was like, yeah, you can overcome those adversities, and that can help you out in the playoffs. This is different. This is more so like, listen, you're not supposed to be nothing. The expectations aren't even there, and you're basically, a game and a half out, applying pressure to the Detroit Lions, and it's not because of a couple of things being fluky. Yeah, some things have to go your way, but defensively, I think they have a lot of things in order, and if this offense holds up, at the very least, having a 5-game win streak, I think that they could be players to get into the playoffs. I don't think the bottom's going to fall out. This feels very Baltimore Oriole-ish of me, if I can make a correlation between the different sports, where it's just like, all right, yeah, you know, they're fine, okay, but eventually they're going to drop out. I don't think that's going to happen with this Minnesota team. And the head coach, O'Connell, listen, you got to start thinking about head coach of the year. You start thinking about this with different coaches, like the guy out of Houston, DeMeco Ryans. I said Mike Tomlin need to win it, absolutely. But I don't know how he's getting 6 wins with that team.
They're a playoff team right now.
But if I'm Minnesota, I think it's Kevin O'Connell.
Yes.
I'm like, hey man, over here too. Come on now, stop playing with me. Anyway, Minnesota, up to this point, 5-game winning streak. I got to give them some love because the bottom may drop out, and then I won't be able to do that anymore. So at number 4, I have the Minnesota Vikings. Kasey Kuhrts.
5.
My third team coming off a bye in the top 5 of the power rankings tells you what's going on in the NFL right now. The Miami Dolphins.
Let me shut off my mic.
Miami Dolphins. Listen, I told you the Chiefs are the second best team in the league. Dolphins had them. It was one falling down to a throw away from being a tie game and maybe going into overtime in Germany. What's impressive is the defense showed up for the Miami Dolphins. They're finally figuring it out. Chiefs score on defense. Miami's offense didn't show up, but that tells you about the Chiefs' defense, which I'm also a fan of. But if you're Miami, you look at this and go, we know we can score, but our defense is finally showing up. And if they could stop some people, then they wouldn't be called frauds throughout the league. But they haven't really stopped anybody other than Kansas City. So I think this is a good sign for Miami. The week off, get a little bit healthier, get things together, and come out for the second half of the season. I believe in Miami right now more than most of the other teams in the AFC. Nobody else seems to agree with me, but I got the Miami Dolphins at 5. I ain't worried about it.
Clearly. I went elsewhere for my AFC number 5. The Baltimore Ravens. Let's not be prisoner of the moment. Losing to Cleveland, number 1, is not a huge stain on your resume this year, based off of what we see from Cleveland.
You lost to Cleveland.
Yeah, and I get it, and I understand that, but ultimately we still know that overall as a team, until it becomes a trend, they can usually run the football. Lamar Jackson is usually not going to have certain mistakes happen that happened in that game.
Sure.
And this team can be as dominant as any other team. A lot of Dallas Cowboy energy when you start talking about potential, even though Baltimore has realized it more this season. We've seen it in games. So, this loss to Cleveland, though, it's heartbreaking because a tale of two halves. Where's Ben Becker when you need him? I'm not going to drop them out of my top 5, even though they were number 1 on my list last season. Kasey Kuhrts, who you got 6 through 10?
The Baltimore Ravens at the start of the fourth quarter in that game had a 95.5% chance to win, according to ESPN Analytics.
We ain't asking all that.
They then give up a touchdown to Elijah Moore, a pick 6, and a field goal to win it. But I do have the Ravens at number 6. I have Dallas at number 7. I'm with you on Minnesota. I have them at 8, Seattle at 9, Jacksonville at 10.
All right, I got Cleveland at 6, San Fran at 7, Jacksonville at 8, Miami, unfortunately, at 9, and 10, I got the Dallas Cowboys.
Shout out to Skip Schumacher, who just won Manager of the Year in the National League for the Miami Marlins, the parent club of the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. How about it, Brian?
Oh, wow. Well, shout out to him. I'm sure the Atlanta Braves manager is just like, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't win nothing. Not a playoff series. Nothing. A lot of regular season games, but unfortunately that don't really count for anything. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. VIP section coming up next.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy tonight with drizzle and rain at times. Temperatures in the low to mid 60s. The on and off rain continues into Wednesday with highs between 70 and 75. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Now save 43% off everything in the store during Beard's 43rd anniversary sale.
Imagine getting ahead of your irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C by treating it with Linzess. Then you could start proactively managing your constipation with belly pain and get ahead of your symptoms. Talk to your doctor about Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Brian Middleton here, and I'm walking proof of what Awaken 180 can do for you. Picture this, all right? My last trip had me trekking a whopping 29 miles over 3 days. And honestly, it was smooth sailing. No knee pain, no soreness. It was all good. And that's the Awaken 180 difference. See, after dropping 45 pounds, my knees are living a new life. And just last week, I found out that I'm down 4 more pounds. That's 49 pounds down in total. But it's not just a number. It's a whole new way of moving through the world. Awaken 180 isn't just a diet. It's my personal revolution. It's about those extra miles. It's about the sights I see without the twinge in my knees. And it's about the kind of freedom that comes when you're carrying less and doing so much more. So, if you're wondering if you can hit your stride again, let me just tell you, with Awaken 180, you're not just shedding weight, you're gaining a journey. Ready to join me on this path? Visit awaken180weightloss.com or call up the team at 844-346-1800.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? 1-to-1 Financial. We're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
In case you haven't noticed, the holidays are a-coming. So why not make the trip to Grandma's house in style and comfort with a little help from my friends at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota has over 575 new Toyotas available, and your new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. Arlington even has all makes and models of used inventory. I'm talking over 400 on the lot. You even get Arlington's 30-day exchange program with your pre-owned purchase. Why wait? Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Men suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, it's been Underwood's business to have what she wants since 1928.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Let me help you get a little something for free with the air conditioning team I use. It's Bold City Heating and Air. Tell them Brent sent you and get a free duct cleaning with a purchase of a new unit. BoldCityAC.com. Here's why I've partnered up with Bold City Heating and Air. It's a Jacksonville-grown and family-owned and operated business. Most AC places locally have been sold to corporations, not Bold City Heating and Air, and they take care of you the old-fashioned way. Awesome communication, awesome customer service, and they have an awesome new look. BoldCityAC.com for a tune-up on that overworked AC unit. BoldCityAC.com.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity. The future of college football is now, and our primary goal is to position the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl and Jacksonville to be prepared for a potential college football expansion. And we need you, our local business leaders, to join our team and showcase that Jacksonville supports college football. Gator Bowl Sports has opportunities for all companies, whether you have 5 employees or 5,000. I would love to meet you and talk about our future. If you'd like to learn more, contact me at 904-798-1700.
The workday begins the moment you put on your boots. At Boot Barn Work, we know you need work gear that holds strong until you kick them off at the end of the day. No matter the job, Ariat Work Gear performs week after week, year after year, with fit, mobility, and safety features built for the jobs that keep our nation moving. Ariat provides non-stop performance day in and day out. Ariat at Boot Barn Work.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. ESPN 690. On a Tuesday. Feels weird to be here on a Tuesday, Brian, after I feel like I had a couple of Tuesdays off in a row. But anyway, we're here. We're here for about another 20 minutes, and then you will hear Inside Seminole Football. With Mike Norvell, again, the Noles continue to be undefeated. And they've almost done it. A win over Miami. They will now play North Alabama. They will then get the Florida Gators. And then a date in the ACC Championship is what will be next for the Noles. College football is a wild place. Not really sure who's going to the playoff. Literally anything can happen at this point. So it will be a fun run down the stretch if you are a college football fan. OTVIP. I like it. Is this different? Feels a little different.
We switch it up every couple of weeks. You know, we got a rotation of music here in the VIP section.
I like it.
One of the best DJs come in, you know what I mean? So
I respect that. Would you like me to start?
Sure. Hold on. Let me get this champagne popping real quick, man. Champagne. Hold on. Champagne. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, that's why. No, that sounded crazy. Champagne. There we go.
Okay. Awesome. You talked about the Minnesota Vikings for a while. I didn't talk about them as long, but I will talk about somebody who's on their team, and that is TJ Hawkinson. So Amanda's watching fantasy football scores, and she's like, it felt like at halftime, she's like, yeah, I have a guy with 30 points. Like 30 points? What are you it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. What are you talking about? She's like, Hawkinson. It's like, Hawkinson has 30 points? That's what 11 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown will do for you, TJ Hawkinson. Josh Dobbs said, I need a friend. Basically the only person he knew on the team when he signed there, and he got him the football at a high rate. 15 targets, 11 of them catches. Again, $134 and a touchdown. The game ended up being a lot closer once Jameis Winston gets in the football game, but the Minnesota Vikings without Kirk Cousins, amazingly, 2-0. TJ Hawkinson has been a huge part of that, but what a game for him on Sunday. A guy that has been compared to Evan Ingram a lot, both very talented, both similar styles, but TJ Hawkinson on Sunday was extremely important to the Minnesota Vikings, and they definitely do not win without him. So, TJ Hawkinson, spicy chickens, left. Tesla keys, right. OTVIP, you're in. Skip the line.
Single-handedly lost me.
Oh, boy.
My 7-game win streak in one of my fantasy leagues.
That was a good run, though, man.
It was a good run. There was no way I should lose that. And when he put that 30 up and then Travis Etienne decided to go up against that San Francisco defense, I was like, it's over. It's over. Anyway, where am I at? There we go. Will the Texans, Sheldon Rankins, and the Colts, Dayo Odenigbo,
Okay.
come on down to the OTVIP? I say this all the time, broken record time. It's hard to get a sack in the NFL.
Yes.
You think about the amount of plays there are in the NFL, hundreds upon hundreds for each individual player. And if you're a starter, but even if you're a rotational guy, which makes it even tougher if you have less than hundreds upon hundreds, and people get paid multiple millions of dollars if they get to double-digit sacks, 10.
Yep.
Out of 900 plays in a season, 10.
That's true.
So when guys get
Kinda wild.
one sack, I applaud them. They get a pressure, I applaud them. When you get 3, which both of these guys did.
Wow.
One plays for the Texans, the other again plays for the Colts.
AFC
I got to
South.
let you in. That's been a long-standing tradition since we started OTVIP, like 2 months ago. Long-standing tradition. If you get 3 sacks, you're in here. Unless I just can't pronounce your name and I don't have time to look it up. Okay, and I think I chopped up my man from the Colts. Dayo from the Colts. I think I chopped your name up, but I wanted
You
to get
definitely
you in
chopped
here.
it up the second time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So listen, each of these guys said, you know what we're gonna do? All right, guys, opposing offensive line, I appreciate you trying. I love the sportsmanship, but I got a meeting with your quarterback. I'll be back next play to meet with you, but I gotta go see your QB about something on the ground. Pause. You feel what I'm saying?
I do feel what you're saying.
They were menaces. They caused havoc. They were playing like Daniil Hunter and Josh Allen and Myles Garrett. That's how they were playing. And kudos to them, man. And both of their teams won. So good for them.
True.
So once again, Sheldon Rankins, Dayo Odenigbo. I know I didn't say that right. I apologize, dude. Come on into the OTVIP. Spicy chickens to the left. Tesla keys to the right.
Name tags with pronunciation straight out.
Please, I should have looked it up.
Holy cow. So TJ Hawkinson with his 30 fantasy points was good. But then I checked on my Dynasty League, and I find out I've got no chance to win. Not a chance at all. So I give up, don't really check. And then I get the wildest information that I'm in the lead in Dynasty. What has happened? Keenan Allen is what happened. Keenan Allen, at the age of 31, who is on the injury report every week for the last 10 years, who, as always, misses a few snaps in the game because he's in the blue tent, always. But then he comes back in, and Keenan Allen said, I understand I play for the Chargers, so we are going to lose this game. I don't care what it looks like. We're not going to win. But if I'm out here, I might as well put up 175-2. 175-2 on 11 catches for Keenan Allen. He continues to put in work and doesn't get the respect deserved, maybe because of his age, maybe because the Chargers are no good. There's a whole lot of things there. But Keenan Allen has been so good for Justin Herbert, and he was fantastic again in this football game. Unfortunately for him, the Chargers stink, so they lost to the Detroit Lions. Impressive win because the Chargers kept scoring, mostly because of Keenan Allen. Yes. So, incredible showings from both TJ Hawkinson and Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen continues to get it done at the age of 31, and he'll probably get it done at 32, 33, 34 as well if he can stay healthy. But Keenan Allen, chickens, left, keys, right. Don't need a name tag, no pronunciation needed. Keenan Allen, we got you on lock, OTVIP.
Now, this next guy right here, okay, listen, I'm not truly a fan of him or his team, but I don't knock him. I will say, though, I've spoken glowingly of his organization, but there's always a caveat. There's always something, an addendum to it, because we know what they do once they get into the playoffs.
Oh, boy.
They don't reach their ceiling offensively normally, and sometimes it's offensively and defensively. But when you play the New York Giants, when you see your prey on the field, it's time to get me an OTVIP invitation, and that's what Dakota Prescott did. Dakota, they was playing with you. They was playing with your name, Dakota Prescott, and you know what you did? 4-0-4. You hear what I'm saying? 4 2 times and a 0 in between. It was a 0 sandwich with 4s as the pieces of bread. 404 yards, 4 touchdowns. 4-4-4. Bo. That's a Jay-Z album. It was also the stat line for Dakota Prescott as they ran over the New York Giants. Are they still playing football? They're still trying? Is New York still
They're
trying
not
right
trying, but they're still running out there, yes.
Are they in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes? That'd be awkward.
Firmly.
The Bo Nix sweepstakes. I mean, I don't know. If you give me one.
Firmly.
Shadur Sanders.
They're locked in.
That little $45 million contract, they're like, we can get up out under that.
They're in there. They're 100% in the sweepstakes.
Holy smokes. But hey, listen, again, this is what good teams are supposed to do to teams that aren't so good.
True.
So I'm going to give the Cowboys and Dakota Prescott, or Dak Prescott, his props there. The problem is, it's not to the height of Miami, in my opinion. I need you to do this stuff when there is a Miami in front of you, when there is a Kansas City in front of you, when there is a Philadelphia in front of you. And I know you just played Philly a couple of games ago, and it wasn't a complete bomb out, but to see what this offense is capable of. And, you might let in CeeDee Lamb. I don't have him on my list, but CeeDee Lamb with a bunch of catches as well. This is what the Cowboys need every week. Not 404 yards, but this kind of efficiency. Get it to CeeDee Lamb when all else fails. You'd be like, Noah Brown or whoever else, CeeDee Lamb is down there somewhere. That's my best bet. And as long as you got that going on and Dak Prescott isn't killing you even with that one interception, Cowboys are going to be all right. But regardless of all that, Kasey Kuhrts, great showing by Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, and that's why I'm letting him into the OTVIP this week.
I like it. So, I don't know if you heard, Kyler Murray came back, and he's not getting in the VIP. But the Cardinals did win, so I will let in a Cardinal. That's the rule. If you win, I may consider letting you in. I look at who did what. Didn't see a lot of exciting stuff until I got to B.J. Ojulari, the pass rusher out of LSU, the second-round pick. Talked about him potentially being here in Jacksonville. He is not. He is in Arizona. And as you mentioned earlier, how incredibly difficult it is to get a sack in the NFL, a pressure. He didn't get 3 like your boy from the Colts, and his name is
Dayo Odeingbo.
He was not that, but you know what? He did get 2. So 3 gets you into the OTVIP. If you play for the Cardinals, 2 gets you in. All right? If you play for the Bears, a half gets you in. Just breathe on the quarterback the wrong way, pause, and you will get into the OTVIP. But B.J. Ojulari wasn't great early, but it really never is for anybody on the Cardinals. Last couple of games, it's been a lot better. Couple of sacks helps the Cardinals get a win. I'm not saying the Cardinals are good. I'm not saying we'll ever get another Cardinal in the OTVIP, but if you get 2 sacks, I'm going to recognize you. B.J. Ojulari, the rookie. Why not? OTVIP.
I'll make this real quick. The only loser I'm letting in this week.
Okay.
Only loser on the list. I think everybody else has won. I got to let him in. Second time I've let him in this NFL season. Samuel Howell, can you come on in? Another great showing.
Sam Howell, yeah.
And a loss. 312 passing yards. 3 touchdowns, no picks. Now, you met the ground 3 times with a sack. But Kasey, I got to be real with you. Once Eric Bieniemy figures out this offensive line, they got something here. I think we're seeing the beginnings, as long as this team doesn't ruin this kid. We're seeing the beginnings of a dude that's going to be a household name that people still really aren't on yet as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This guy is leading the league in passing yards. Not Tua. I get it. They haven't had their bye yet, but not Tua, not Mahomes, not Allen. This kid is 3rd in the league in touchdown passes. Granted, I think he has 8 interceptions, but 17-8, I'll take it for a young QB. Anyway, Sam Howell, welcome into the OTVIP. Try to get some treatment or something. I know you need an ice bath.
I like it, Brian. And to that point, Trevor Lawrence has been sacked a lot. That's 24 times. Bryce Young has been sacked a lot, 29 times. Zach Wilson, 33 times. A lot of sacks. Sam Howell's been sacked 47 times. This guy's going to get sacked 100 times. Isn't that wild?
53-15, by the way.
Sweet.
But it is wild.
Oh, so we're out of time.
15 seconds.
So what you're telling me is Sam Howell is the last entrant in the OTVIP section.
Amen.
Works for me.
Yeah.
47 sacks. Holy cow. Mike Norvell is next. Inside Seminole Football for Brian. I'm Kasey. Have a great night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
So I have been in the operating room most